And we are live. What is going on, YouTubes? Lord Commander AK reporting from the Upside Down. And I'm here with my campaign, my party. You can never come into these things without the full party. I will start and let everyone introduce themselves. I'm going to start with this handsome devil over here that's finally showing his face. The Lord of Last Hearth, my brother Tony. Say hi to the people.
What's up, people? Tony, aka, well, it's not that anymore. Tony Umber. I almost forgot. Just here another Saturday with my great friends to talk about Stranger Things Season 2. Let's go.
And pass it off to Lady Lavina.
Hey guys, excited to talk about Stranger Things as usual. Thank you very much for having me, Miss AK. Let's get into it.
BBM, say hello to the wonderful people.
Hello all, BrokeBlackMan94 here. And before starting this off, I gotta do this one thing now. You know.
Oh God, here we go.
You know, leave Dustin alone. I'm just gonna say it once, maybe twice, 3 times, but leave Dustin alone. He didn't do nothing to you.
Well, you know what? For this first episode, yeah, I'll leave Dustin alone. But nah, man, no one is safe. No one is safe. When you need to get the wrench, you get the wrench. And damn it, Dustin had some moments where he needed to get the wrench. I'm just saying. But let's see. Let's go over to the chat room. Who do we got in here? Ion Throne, the Lord of the Twitters, always hanging out with us. My ladies, Enid Brown and Aaron Water, thank you for joining us. Follow Morgulis, what goes on? Sarah, what's up? J-Town, my homie, what's going on? Thank you for coming in. Let's see. The first episode we will be discussing, before we start actually, I'm going to do episodes 7 and 8, and then BBM is gonna handle the finale for us. So let's see, let me pull up the synopsis really quick. Sorry, I have like 1,001 screens open. Okay, so episode 8, episode 7, sorry. In this episode, I think a lot of people had issues with. I understand the issues, but I didn't really think it was that bad. It's called The Lost Sister. And it says here, Eleven's psychic connection to Terry shows her that she was not always alone at Hawkins. You know, Terry kept records on other missing kids, and Becky gives them to 11. She recognizes one of the girls from the vision and tracks the girl down. She gets on the bus, goes to Chicago, finds Kali in a warehouse with her friends. She sees Kali has the number 8 on her for her tattoo, where Elle has the 11. Kali's abilities are to recreate powerful illusions in people's minds that they are convinced are real. She is also, like Elle, telekinetic, and she's a few years older than Elle, so she's been at it for a little bit more, and she's got more control than Elle, so she passes on that wisdom, which I thought was cool. The gang, they go track down employees of Hawkins, people that hurt Kali as a child and probably hurt all the other kids that were there as well as 11's mother. They find this one guy, the guy that was shown in the room that lobotomized Terry, and he doesn't recognize them right away, but you know, Kali pulls the mind trick and he recognizes them as children. They torture him a little bit, and right when they go in for the kill, one of the people in the gang finds his daughters in the room, and they have been on the phone and they've called 911. Rightfully so. Kali doesn't really care that the kids are there. She wants to finish the job. 11 stops her. They run out, and they end up getting away from the cops that time. At the hideout, Kali, takes a little bit of revenge on Elle, giving her a vision of Papa, Dr. Brenner, who we believe now is still alive. I don't know how he could be, but it seems that he might be. And let's see, then she also has a vision of Mike and Hop. And this vision happens right at the same time where their warehouse has been found and the cops are breaking in. They end up getting away, but before they drive off, 11 decides she has to go home. Kali says that, you know, she needs to come with her. She can't, her friends can't help her. But she says, no, you know, they can't save me, but I can save them. And they part ways. Kali looks very distressed at not having Elle with her anymore. And, you know, some people could say it was fake, but I think it was pretty genuine. And that is where the episode ended, with 11 going back home. So, first thoughts before we get into any of my notes. What do you guys think of the ep as a whole? Did you hate it like a lot of other people did, or did you find notes in it that you thought were successful, and did you like the whole thing as a whole? Tony, we'll start with you.
I liked it because it gave us some more different perspective with the people, or like somebody like 11 with number 8. I really liked that because it was up to this point, you know, I thought maybe it was just 11, you know, but then you start to see like, well, she's got 11 tattooed on her arm. There has to be, you know, at least some form of 1 through 10. Maybe they didn't work out, whatever, you know what I mean? I didn't, especially the way they had it, like, it wasn't like it was just an 11. It was 0, 1, 1, I think. Yeah, so like that too gave an opening to there being maybe more, you know what I mean, than just being her title there or whatever. But yeah, I liked when Terry shows her that she's not the only one, and then she goes and finds what's her name? Callie? Is that her name?
Yeah, Callie.
Yeah.
Is it Callie? I thought it was Kali.
It's
what?
It's pronounced Kali. Yeah, you're right, but it's spelled like Kali.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I liked it was pretty cool when she got to meet her, and then but like you kind of see where the one was using her powers to, like, you know, commit crime and, you know, have an easier way of life by, you know, because her powers are what making people see what she wants them to see or something like that. So like I really like that part about it, that 11 got to be didn't have that feeling of being alone, knowing that she wasn't the only one that was being, like, you know, forced to do all this shit and be experimented on or whatever. But when she started to try to get 11 to, you know, help her, you know, in her little crime gang or whatever, I kind of felt bad for 11 because it almost, I don't know if 11 felt that way, but I guess she started to feel like, all right, she just got connected to somebody that was like her. And then all of a sudden now this girl's like pretty much like using her, you know, she's telling her, oh, we need to stick together, we're sisters and all that good shit. But she's pretty much using her to, you know, forward their gang's activities or whatever. But I started to feel bad for her, you know, and I was glad that they didn't really spend much time with her, and then like she got to see, okay, you know, this isn't what I want. You know, I have friends. They might not be like her and 8, but she had friends and she wanted to get back to them. So, oh no, I enjoyed this episode. It was one of my favorites, I think.
Nice. Lavina.
I also enjoyed this episode. It gave me a lot of like Stephen King's Firestarter feels. I mean, Kali has the same powers that oh shoot, sorry.
That was like totally on time.
Always, it never fails. Someone will interrupt me. Yeah, like the dad in Firestarter has the same gifts that Kali has in the show. So I really enjoyed it. I agree to some extent that Kali's using 11, but I think it's more than that. I think she thought she finally got somebody who was going to be as angry as her about what happened to them. And so she was, I think she was more confused at how 11 was more empathetic, I guess. And it could be because she's older, because like me, when they got to that guy, I was like, who gives a shit his kids are there? Shoot that beady-eyed little bitch in his face. I was all for killing him. Like, all for killing him. I was like, those girls will get over it. Just move the body or something. Those girls will get over it. They're young. He needs to die. So I'm like all with Kali. Like, I would want to kill all of them. Go full on Cersei and blow up the sept. But yeah, so, but I really enjoyed it, and I thought it had some of the best music. Like they've had some good music this whole season and last season. I really enjoyed the music this episode especially. But yeah, so there's my vengeance. I'm a vengeful person. I would have killed him.
LavLav gives no fucks. Hashtag that, folks. Get it trending. And now, since you've mentioned that accursed name.
Oh, no. You don't say no accursed name.
Yeah. Let's go. Come on. I know you want to. Go on.
No. There's another time, another stream. But this episode, not going to lie, it was good. But at one point, I was like, wait, this is going to be filler. But then I was like, no, it gave like actual, plot development. For starters, I was surprised that they even like give us like a backstory or even this episode involving 8 at all. So I thought they were just gonna like tease us at the first episode and then have us for another season to speculate, okay, what's her powers? How important is she to the damn plot? We did see her in the Rainbow Room, but what, previous episode or so? Or episode before that? Not 100% sure, but yeah. Actually, it was like last week. Not last week's episode.
The previous episode, yes.
Yeah, it was the previous episode. So it's like, okay, we're getting a little bit more of it. But it's like, I'm not a fan of 8 at all. I think she is a manipulator. It was like from the point when 11 was like, sister, she was like, sister. Like, she really didn't like buy into or whatever. And then just knowing her abilities just to like manipulate surrounding, make people think that they're seeing stuff, it's like, okay, is she just manipulating just everyone else and using her abilities on them? Because like the moment when 11 was about to like leave, and then she does leave, she brings forth, the appearance of Papa. So at one point I was like, okay, so when these other people, wanted to leave as well, did you do the same thing? Did you like bring up something from their past so you can just allure them to stay even more? So it's like, I don't know. It's like there's so much stuff about number 8 that I just can't buy into at all. But in that point,
great though.
I don't care.
No, see, I think there's a certain like ruthlessness to her, but it's because like I've lived in a comfy home and I've never had to, like struggle. I think you put me on the street, you get kind of selfish and vicious, I guess.
But quote unquote, she's with her new family though. That should basically help her back into her humane side. Not only that though, not even try to at least contact my family members or whatever. Like we don't truly know that she ever like even bother to even like contact her family saying that she's alive or not. I know it's like a bad thing though, but at the same time I've been like, let me at least like check up on my family or something. It's like there's still like some mysteries to 8. About
now. See, the thing is though, with that, I look at how I think his name is Fen, the big teddy bear guy. I look at her through his eyes and how he described it, because he said specifically they all had issues wherever they were, and she saved them. It seems like they have a genuine caring for each other, even though they're rough and tumble and don't give a fuck about looting and murdering. I don't think she would do that to any of them if they tried to leave. I think with 11, it was just she has a power that Callie can exploit.
Number 5 is going to be her little brother. Watch.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
I was going to say, if you notice about her though, she tries to keep like that spiky hair dude that she makes see the spiders. Mm-hmm. He wants to shoot and attack a lot of times, and Kali stops him and tries to use her powers to get him out of it before she lets him use violence. So I don't think she's just like a straight up violent person. I think she has her targets that screwed up her entire life, and we don't know if she's found out that they killed her family or something. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think, like, I don't think she's so bad, because she could have been like, who cares? Shoot all the cops and then I'll make a wall or something where they can't see us.
No, against the spiky hair dude, it's like, I'm not going to allow him to even like kill 11 or anything. 11 basically brought in a picture of her. So it's like, okay, they obviously have information.
Hold up. Before you get into that, that was actually the first point I wanted to bring up for my notes. So we'll talk about Axel in a second. Were you done with your whole episode synopsis and how you felt about it?
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed the episode. I just hated number 8 and her crew. So everything else was all cool.
All right. Yeah, I was pretty much the same way. I know this ep got a lot of flack from people because it took away from the Hawkins storyline, but I appreciate when worlds expand and they have the good connecting fibers to keep them together. And so I appreciated it, and I hope they bring more kids into the game. It's like Max and Manticore and all those kids all over again. I love it. So, and shout out to Nix and Sam R09 that has popped in the chat. Have not seen my sister in many a moon. She's been out adulting, so she hasn't had time for YouTubes. That's all right. I understand. Adulting must be done sometimes. But now back onto my first point then that BBM touched in. To begin the episode, we got that small montage of Hawkins and Terry giving 11 the clues that she needed to go and find someone. And I think in that moment, that's when 11's powers upgraded a little bit. Because, she was able to use the fourth dimension to find folks when she had like the sensory deprivation. And then when she was using the static from the TV to help, like, I guess, fuel, blackout noise or whatnot. But now she can do it by just holding a picture. She can access the fourth dimension and then find whoever she needs to where they are. So I think that was a pretty cool upgrade. And sidebar, I like how not all of them, maybe in the future we might know, but Kali and Elle have the same basic power, and that's telekinesis. And where it splits is where Kali has that ability to put out illusions, but Elle has the ability to tap into the fourth dimension and progress her powers there. I think it's pretty cool.
Now, do you think Callie has the ability like to move shit like 11 does? Don't you think that's different too?
I don't think so.
Didn't she use telekinesis at one time?
No.
Okay.
Makes you think she's.
At one point, they said that her powers, like as like time went on, like her powers grew, but she's still able to do like the same thing, maybe in greater, like maybe increase the time length or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I like how they did that in the beginning of the very first episode where it looks like she made the bridge crumble. And then, like, at first, you're like, well, cool, here's another. But then you realize, because the other cops said, what the hell are you stopping for? And it was all doing scenes. Yeah, and kind of like how they did that. Because it fooled me. I thought it was she literally made the bridge crumble.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot about that. All right, so let's see where Elle gets the vision finally from the picture. She goes to find Aunt Becky, and Aunt Becky is on the phone snitching. So, Elle couldn't stay. She grabbed the money out the purse and got ghost. I get it. She should have at the very least tried to talk to Elle and tell her what she was doing, see if that would be a good idea, because she, Becky doesn't have like the full story. She doesn't know everything that's going down. And she probably doesn't know that, 11 is in serious danger if she gets found out. I don't know. I didn't like how that went down. But anyway, once 11 finally comes and meets the gang, she finds Callie. The first person that really says anything to her is Axel. And out of that whole group, I think Axel is probably the one I have the biggest issue with. I mean, this kid walks in and the first thing you think to do was pull a knife on her after she tells you, just because she told you she's here to find her sister, and you see that it's Callie. And then first of all, you pull a weapon on this girl when you know the leader of your gang has powers. If someone found her and has an article from back in those days, and I'm pretty sure Hawkins was stated in that picture, why would you then put yourself in danger by pulling a weapon on her? What was in your brain? Did you not think that she could do something to you if she really wanted to?
Axel's not. I think it's really clear straight off the bat that Axel's just there for
what though? What is his
craziness? I guess.
What is his position in the party? Everybody has a role in the party. What the fuck is his?
I have no idea.
Random dumbass.
He was sleeping with one of them. I don't know, but he's not the brains of the operation.
Oh my goodness. Not
By the way,
all.
I'm in love with that big teddy bear. What was his name?
I believe
The muscle of
it's Funshine, I believe is his.
Funshine.
Yeah.
Love you, Funshine.
Yeah, him I like a lot.
Who's Funshine?
The
The
big
big
guy.
black dude.
I'm
teddy
seeing a
bear.
trend. I'm seeing a trend here. First is Jerry from The Walking Dead, and now it's this teddy bear dude. You got something to say, Lav? Say it now.
I got a type. What do you want me to say?
But that's my first discussion point. How do you guys rate the members of Callie's gang? I don't like Axel. You know, Funshine's all right. The Ali Sheedy from the Breakfast Club wannabe is she's kind of up there with Axel for me. And the driver Mick, she didn't really register too much. So I don't know.
The first thing that came to my mind when I seen him, I don't know why, it was the gang that was in Chappie. Remember the movie Chappie?
I did not watch that movie, so I don't know.
Wait, is that the one about the robot?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There was just the way they were like this gang, and there was just be like badass, but in the same sense they were like comical on how like tough they acted, you know what I mean? I don't know. I thought they were pretty lame.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Before kick the mic back to Lav and BBM, give a shout out to some newcomers in the group: Nix, Richie Rich, Chatwell, Eduardo, Sir LT Giles, the homie of the Hypes Watch. Thank you for stopping in. And Lav, if you want to give your thoughts on the gang as a whole, how do you see them?
I know one of the critiques was that they were kind of like this cheesy, like stereotypical 80s kids, which I do agree. They were these kind of cheesy, like the bad kids that you see in the back of an 80s video, that it wasn't remotely realistic. But yeah, they were just kind of there. They were there to kind of be the backup for Kali. And I think the only one that seemed useful and smart was the lookout girl. I can't remember her name, but she was the one who was saying, we're too hot right now. We shouldn't go after this dude. She was the only one who seemed to have any intelligence. Really.
That was Mick.
What was it?
Mick, M-I-C-K.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Mick.
Oh, okay.
Was she the same one who's supposed to be like the lookout?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was.
Although she screwed up, though. She did screw up and didn't see the cops creeping on him. So there's that. But she was the only one who seemed useful. The other one, I mean, I guess the teddy bear guy was useful too. No one was getting past him, but
Yeah,
other
very
than
true.
that, yeah. I mean, he didn't do much. He just was there to, like, the muscle. But yeah, those two were the only ones who I think seemed useful. The other two seemed kind of just, they're just there to be her gang.
They're there to be ridiculous and weird, like you said. See, Tony, you gave yours. BBM.
I hated the gang. I don't know why they were even introduced. You could have just simply just be 8 and 11 in their show, but they decided to include the gang so you can find, okay, how does 8 just socialize with people? So, all right, we get it. You know, but if they ever say, oh, who's better, 8 and her gang versus 11, you know, and her gang, it's like, come on, don't even bother with that, you know, Twitter. Don't even make us vote on that. But it's
You
like,
know what it is? You know what it is? They're like the discount 80s version of the Brotherhood without banners. That's who they remind me of. Except the Brotherhood without banners are a lot smarter than them.
They're just, I guess they're just a ragtag group that she put together who's willing to follow her. So
Suicide Squad, there we go. That's who they are.
You know what? I'll give you that. Yeah. I'll give you that. Because what was it? Oh, it was only one of them that truly had some mystical power with her sword. And the others were just like randomly great and skilled at what they are. Oh, no. Diablo had an actual power too.
Diablo, yeah.
But either way, yeah, I'll allow it. Suicide Squad, 80s style. Never do that again.
You're like the Little Rascals.
No.
Even
No
the
one
little
is saying
rascals were
okay.
smarter than them, man.
There was no Ote saying so. No, they don't even got a catchphrase. No.
All the told Ron go, oh, Tay.
Oh, Lord. Watch some shit like that happen next season just because you said that, Tony.
Told you. Number 5.
He is going to keep on with this number 5. All right. When it comes to Kali and 11, do you guys think Kali was genuine in her happiness of having someone else that's there, like not just to use her power, although she did take that thought to the dark side pretty quickly, but do you think she was genuinely happy to have someone else that could do things like she could do? Tony, you go first.
I mean, I think she was happy to have somebody like her, but she comes off like, you know, like she has to be the leader and the most powerful and the one making the choices for which direction they go. And I could see 11 if 11 was to stick around, and you know they realize, you know, that 11. I think 11. I mean, making somebody see something that's not there, I guess, is pretty powerful. But I mean, I could do that with the right amount of acid, you know. So I think 11's powers are a little more I guess I don't know. They'd be more threatening, I guess, because you know she could literally like stop a person in their tracks. Like you could come at her and she could literally hold you there, like she did with the boy when she made him piss himself. And like I think after a while, just by the way that girl Callie comes off, that it would become a problem. Especially like if the first time they disagreed and the whole sisterly love thing was out the window and they were comfortable with each other. Because you know, like way a person really is comes out when they're comfortable. So as soon as they start to get comfortable with each other and to get past this whole we were in the you know, we went to the same summer camp bullshit, then they would have she would have probably been threatened by her, I think.
Like it. I like it. Lavina, did you go already?
No.
No.
Go ahead, Lav.
I think she did. Like I guess I give Callie a little more credit. I think she did care about 11. I think she was happy to meet somebody who she believed would feel the same way she did. The thing is, Callie's been on the street for a long time, and she's been with these group of kids that are all so rough and tumble, and so she has like I think a more cynical kind of view of life, whereas M is younger, and when she was brought out of that facility, she came to our group of boys who are like good boys, you know, and they taught her friendship, and they taught her, and there's like a lot more aside from just surviving and that kind of stuff. So I think M is sympathetic, whereas Callie is more like you know, cynical and a little more vicious. Like, you know, a dog that you have in the house versus a dog that's been living on the street and fighting for all the bones in the trash cans or whatever. So I think that's where they like butt heads. But Callie, she does tell M, like, if you want to be sympathetic and if you want mercy, that's your decision, but don't take the decision from me. If I want to do something, like, don't stop me from doing it. So I think it's kind of like a different viewpoint, and my hope is at the end that they will come together and figure out how to use it both together to stop like the real enemy instead of just getting revenge, which is what Callie's after right now. I don't know how much she knows about like the upside down and how it's seeping into our world. So once she learns that, she might pivot and decide like, hey, M's got the right idea. And I think M could teach her that there's more to life than just surviving and fighting, that there could be actual real relationships and you could chill for a bit. So I have hope for those two that they will come together, even though they're kind of butting heads right now. But yeah, so Because Callie looked really sad when M left. Like, she looked like she lost somebody. Not
Lavina. Lavina.
Yeah.
Who the hell is M?
M.
L.
L.
Why are you always fucking up the names?
Yeah, me too. Yes,
Something terrible will happen to us. L. That's why I call her 11. Every time I try to shorten it, I will screw it up. L. Anyway, I'm hoping those two sisters will hook up with their other siblings too.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And you know, in the chat, Enid, my homie, she says that she also thinks that, you know, Kali was genuine. Aaron Water also thinks so. What does everybody else think? You know, J-Town, I believe, agrees as well. And yeah, I see it. You know, she did have, you know, want to walk down that evil path, but I think she was genuinely glad to have 11 there. David,
I just think it was too little time to really put you know, a decisive, you know, do we think this or that, you know, because I don't know, I'm just going off how Callie was with, I mean, yeah, 11 probably holds a different place to her and her, I guess, her heart, if you want to say, than the other guys or other people in the group. But I can just see how she is with that other people in the group. And yeah, they're similar, but I could just see it going, you know, going south when, you know, maybe 11 gets a little older, you know, and she, you know, I think she would be more powerful. And I think that would really, you know, threaten Callie in a way. I don't know. That's just me. I'm pessimistic about everything. Don't take it like just being a hater. I just don't see how, you know, we could really, I mean, for what we've seen, okay, yeah, you could go either way. It's just, I just think with this girl doesn't seem like the kind that would want to share, you know, the top spot of the gang. You know what I mean?
BBM.
So yeah, I still hate her, but it's like, she's a great character. What can I say? You know, there was at one point she shows her humanity. And she was crying because, like, you know, I'm whole again when L came through the damn door. But then the moment when L wanted to decide to, like, leave, she was like, wait a minute, hold up. What do you mean you're leaving? And started using her own abilities on damn 11. But even then, when, like, leaving, when she was like, 11, let's go, and 11 was like, nah, I gotta go. She could have easily just, like, used her abilities again to do something towards 11 so she can be captured. But she's like, nah, let her go. So it's like, give her 2 cents, then I'm taking a cent back, you know? That's how I view it on freaking Kali at the end of the day, though.
I don't know, though. What would you rather have? Would you rather be able to show people shit, you know, let them see what you really want them to see, or be able to snap somebody's neck by just twitching your head? I mean, I think I'd rather have L's powers.
If you had to choose, I'm going with telekinesis.
Yeah, I think
it's manipulation, but just different manipulations. You're either manipulating because you can physically force somebody, or you're manipulating with somebody's mind. They're both, if you know how to use them, I think they're both equally as powerful. I just think it's harder maybe to use the mental, emotional one. But Callie seems to be learning how to use it pretty well. And
she needs to learn how to upgrade it, because it's what, like a minute or so, or even a minute and a half, it's able to use it. So it's like, what happens if you're in a pickle against demo dogs? It's like, how long could you, like,
if it was somebody that has like good willpower, like, you know what I mean? If somebody that can block the shit out, you know, it's kind of like with it, how they had to believe that he wasn't real, you know, and wipe away the fear for him to not be able to, you know, get you. I think it would be almost the same thing. You know, it mattered on your willpower. And I think that Callie maybe was a little, you know, because of her age, she seemed a little older. Maybe she was a little smarter in saying, look, you know, she probably could have tried to do something to keep 11 there, but realized, look, if I fuck with this little girl too much, she's going to break my neck. So I don't take it as, you know, she let her go because she, you know, was trying to be cool. I don't know. I always see the bad and everything. I'm sorry.
But, well, I agree. She might know not to mess with 11 too much. But as far as like willpower and all that, yes, if you're for sure, you know, somebody is using something on you, but how do you know? Like, it's kind of like one of those freaky things. Like, how do you know what is real and what's not real when somebody is there? Like, it would mess with your mind, even if you knew she had a power. Like, you're still like, okay, I can take this risk and say it's her power, but what if it's really happening? What if there's really a Demogorgon right there and she's not just projecting it to my mind? So I think even if you, I don't know, I think it's a good power even if you know she has it, because like once it's in your brain, it's kind of hard to figure out if it's real or not.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Papa's gonna learn from his damn mistakes. Well, he's just learning of a way to figure it out. Come on now. She escaped.
No, I think you guys are giving people too much credit.
They messed up twice this season. They got the season 3. They got season 3. That's it. And if not,
I would think the people in her gang though would you know, from being with, say if they're with her for like a year and they know like what she's doing. Like if you're chilling in an abandonmenium, you know, waiting to play in your next score, and she starts fucking with you by making little like scorpions crawl across the ground. All right, I'm in Pittsburgh. I know there ain't no scorpions. And, you know, and I know what this chick's about. So you would think, you know, but I can understand if you don't know that, like, you know what I mean? Even like you said, Lav, you might know that she has that ability. But I think if you get used to it after a while, unless it's just so crazy, like messing with your mental, not only do you see it, but like it all inside you makes you believe, you know what I mean? It's different to see something and actually see it and believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, like I said, if they're taking, like if they're taking, what is it called? If they're getting their ideas like from Firestarter, the dad in that who has the ability like Kali can make you believe something. Like he could make you believe you're blind. Like that's one of his powers. That's something he does to someone. He makes them believe they're blind and they freak the hell out because they think they're blind, even though they're chasing him and his daughter because they know they have this ability. They still, like, he's still able to screw with their head enough so that they believe they're blind and they freak out. So I think Callie has that, or that's her upgrade. She can really get into your brain. And it's like me. Okay, I'm terrified of spiders. I could know you have the ability. If you cover me in spiders, I'm going to freak the fuck out anyway because I'm terrified of it. If you do it to me every single day for an hour every single day, eventually it's not going to affect me. But she would be stupid if she did that. If she got someone used to like one specific thing, I don't think she would do that.
Yeah,
the upgrade has to have it like permanently in their psyche. Like for instance, make them fear that they're actually blind, and then they're gonna actually think that they're blind for like the rest of their lives, but in reality they can see. Something of like that magnitude, you know, by all means. But until we get that upgrade, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. That was a good point to bring up, Tony. We're gonna sidebar a little bit back.
Only one more thing though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, you know, what is it? Damn, now I'm forgetting her name. Oh yeah, Kali and the gang is gonna like return, and it's like, is she gonna return by herself or is she gonna return with the gang?
That's an interesting thought. I don't think she would want to just leave them to the street. So if she did make the decision to go and find 11, I think they would all be going with her.
I don't think they would.
Enid doesn't agree.
You guys might be red shirts?
If they go to Hawkins, then yes. I think they would end up being total red shirts.
Billy, whatever the hell that boy's name is, Zac Efron.
Why do you keep thinking he's Zac Efron?
Why are you bringing him?
Why are we even on Billy? What?
They're gonna come to Hawkins and recruit Billy into their gang.
Billy would be stupid enough to try to do it too.
I don't think Holly would put up with Billy's bullshit.
Yeah. He might end up being a red shirt too. But I don't like him, so that's okay with me. All right, but sidebar back to Hawkins. What do you guys think about Hopper not physically checking on 11 for so long. And, you know, she got that message in the fourth dimension of what he said in the previous episode. But to me, and I know a lot of shit was going down, but he also has a responsibility to this girl. Like, why would you be so distracted from that? Like, again, I know stuff was happening, but he should have went there, took an hour or so out to go check on her, make sure she's safe. What do you guys think? Lavina, you go first this time.
I agree. I mean, I've been ragging on Hopper this whole time, and I think he's a good guy. I just think he wasn't prepared at this moment mentally to take care of I almost said M again, 11, and this was just further proof. Like he doesn't have his shit together enough to take care of her. Maybe now after it's all said and done he does, but at this point he still doesn't have it together. He needed help, or he needed to hand that over to someone else because he's not doing the best job.
Agreed. BBM.
Now the question was like, why didn't Hopper like go check up on 11 for a while? That's a dumb question. So only excuse I would actually give is that last time we checked, Hopper was like, whatchamacallit, where was he at? Oh yeah, he was like kidnapped underground or for like a bit or so. Not kidnapped though, but like underground, and then he had to go through that cleansing thing. So first and foremost, I actually think about like me actually being okay from that damn cleansing. And then after that, he had to go straight to, okay, what's wrong with Will? But like, yeah, he should have like did, you know, the what's that type of communication again? Morse code, yep. At something with 11 or something. I don't know. He should have done something. But then again, it's like those people were after him. He was kind of like at their headquarters. So it's like, okay, they haven't said anything about 11 or anything. So maybe I'm missing the clear.
I can dig it. Tony?
Yeah, I guess Hop was doing, I guess, the best he knew. I mean, because I like I don't want to call it a soft spot for. I think because what he went through with his own daughter, he was, you know, she died at a young age, and like he wasn't a parent really for that long. And then on top of trying to be the best, you know, parent he could be to 11, he also had a job as the head man in law enforcement for this town and all the crap that's going on. And then you got to think back, you know, season 1 with, you know, that's a big weight on somebody's shoulders to keep that kind of secret, and then make sure everybody, the parties that are involved with that secret, you know, keep the secret and, you know, not put anybody else at risk. And then, you know, being the chief of police, all that, you know, it's hard to have to. I mean, I wouldn't know, but I would figure it'd be hard to try to have to, you know, weigh the two, you know, which one's more important. And I don't even think it was so much that. I just think he got so tied up in the events of Hawkins that it was like one after the other he was having to deal with. And like I understand, like he should have, you know, gave some kind of, but the really, other than doing the whole Morse code thing to her, like I don't know what else he could do where he would feel as though he wasn't risking her, you know, being around, like to somebody else noticing. You know, I couldn't see him being like with the other his sheriff deputies or whatever, and you just say, all right, I gotta go walk off in the woods real quick to my secret cabin and let my, you know, my kid I just took on, no, I'm okay or whatever, make sure she's okay. I just think the whole burden of being the cop for that town and everything that was going on just clouded his, you know, his mind with, you know, what was the task at hand in front of him at the time. I don't necessarily think he forgot about 11. I don't know. I just think that he had so much going on that, you know, one clouded his mind from the other. And by the time he realized it, you know, like you said, she already went to Pittsburgh and back. You know what I mean? Pittsburgh ain't that far from Indiana. I don't know what part of Indiana we're in, but still, that's still a little bit to go. What having, you know, when you're a so-called parent over a kid, and then like that's a lot of time for you not to know what they're doing. But I guess too, you look at 11, she's not your normal kid. You know what I mean? Like it ain't like what like a normal kid her age, and you know you want to make sure they're in by nighttime because of the shit that goes on. But her, she can't handle herself. I don't know. I just think he was just too overwhelmed with everything that was going on.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, and you know the majority of the chat is on that as well. You know, he is trying. I definitely see that, but he's still lacking in some points. I do hope it gets a little easier on them. I'm sure shit's gonna blow up again in season 3, but hopefully we'll see the journey on the way for that when they come back. Let's see. One of my favorite scenes now comes up. You know, Kali basically gives 11 the how to cast the Patronus charm using her anger. It reminded me a lot of the scene with Professor Lupin and Harry Potter trying to get him to fight off the boggart that was a Dementor and cast that charm. And I thought it was pretty freaking epic. You know, without that, I don't think she would have been able to do what she did at the very end. I do question, though, why it had to be anger. And actually, I think a better analogy would be Professor X teaching Magneto how to channel everything, not just the bad, but the good. And I believe it was X-Men First Class. He had to focus on everything, not just what he was mad about, to excel his powers. So now here with 11, she had to tap in. She had to tap in mostly to the anger, because I think that's what 8 feels most of the time. That's where her
use
power comes
your
from.
anger. It gives you strength. It gives you focus.
Hey, well, you know what? To quote Mr. Nonsense, angry gets shit done. I get it. But I think moving on, 11's going to have to tap into far more than just anger. But this was a very cool scene, and I really liked how they showed 8 actually trying to look out for her and teach her how to control, you know, what she's doing, that she doesn't have to necessarily be under complete duress to do it, but she can just harness her chi and pull it up when she needs to. What did you guys think about this scene? BBM, you go first this time.
Put up in the chat, which scene are we talking about?
The scene where Kali helps 11 power up her telekinesis a bit more and she moves that huge freight train.
Yep, it was here. But again, I'm saying, like, okay, she's manipulating 11 here. Oh wait, no, we're talking about her moving that train thing. No, it's 2 different scenes. My apologies.
Yeah,
the moving the freight thing. Yeah, it's good, but I do agree with you when you said that. Yes, use her anger now, use a bad moment or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, eventually, she gotta use that, use something different, like her loved ones. Damn it! Why couldn't she like freaking channel Mike or something? But no. Instead, it was anger. So hopefully later on next season or so, she'll channel something else, not just this rage. You know, because next thing you know, she's gonna become the next freaking Kali and start doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Just saying.
Tony.
Yeah, see, this is the I mean, I know you said you haven't seen it before, but this was the part that I guess kind of reminded me too of that movie Chappie, because they had this robot, and I mean, I know you, Alicia, me and you would remember. You remember the movie from the 80s that had Johnny Five?
Oh yeah, Short Circuit. Who doesn't remember that?
And like that's what Chappie kind of is, like a modern version of that. But when they make this robot, they're like they use these robots to like I don't know, first like as like I don't know, helpers and policemen and all this shit, but they get Chappie to like get him angry to help them commit crimes and shit. And that's what it like made me think of Chappie for, because it's like she's trying to get her, you know, champ, but she's doing it for I think selfish reasons. Like BBM said, I think a lot of it was manipulation because of the fact they want her. You know, if you're gonna have, you know, somebody with powers and you're trying to use them to get, you know, the most out of whatever you're doing, if it's money, power, whatever, you're gonna want her to be at full potential. So I think it was just her, another way of her manipulating 11 into, you know, doing their bidding with the gang. You know, if it takes 11 to get pissed for her to really like show it, you know, she's gonna try to get her to channel that. And I thought a lot of that too. It was pretty cool, but I thought she was manipulating her just, again, with the whole, you know, getting her to move the freight train. Because wasn't she making her think of Papa? Was that one that was making her move it? Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was more manipulation on Callie's part.
All right. Lavina?
I think I agree with you and BBM, or I don't know which one of you said it, but that Callie feels mostly anger. So that's what she channels maybe when she does her thing, and so that's what she teaches 11. And then also I think BBM, you said something about why didn't she tell her to channel Mike or any of that. I don't know how much of that she knows about 11. So I don't know that she
I think they had a conversation or two though, because she knew about, I think she told her about Hop or whatever, you know, or something, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Gotta rewatch it again. But I think they had like maybe it was off screen that they had a conversation about their life. I don't know.
You might be right, but yeah, to me, I feel like, yeah, she just teaches her that because that's what gets things done for her.
Oh wait, now I remember. No, she didn't tell. It was like during 11's like flashes. She gets like angry that she can't see Mike, and then she saw like Mike and Max. So it was just really her memory. She didn't probably tell.
Okay. So yeah, and then I think Tony, you're partly right. She wants her to get stronger because that's what would be helpful to their group. I mean, you can't just be useless in this group. This group is all about surviving and all this stuff. We still don't know what the hell Axel does. Maybe he's really amazing in bed. We don't know. But everyone has to have like a purpose in this group. And so I think she wants Elle to be really strong. She wants to be really strong so they can get their agenda done, or at least Kali's agenda done. And also because it will keep Elle alive. So yeah, that's about all I really have to say about the.
Oh, did you say Axel might be amazing in bed? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that fool is good for. So
I was
either
just her, because you're always so like, you know, quiet and sweet in the background. I didn't hear this kind of talk from you before.
no.
You think Love is sweet and quiet in the background? Have you not watched the Ginger Ale chat and seen her in the chat room?
No, I haven't caught any but LavLav before. I'll make sure I'm in the party next time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I actually didn't even catch when you said that, because freaking Enid over here talking about playing the damn Short Circuit theme song. Got me all fucked up in the game.
It's not my fault.
Yes, it is.
They kept talking about it.
Y'all see what I live with? Every day. Damn it. Okay. So moving on, and we'll just go through for the last of the episode here. They go into the supermarket to try to get some supplies because they're running out of money and whatnots. And Kali does her thing, makes the supermarket. The guy think that the toilet's overflowing. Then they start stealing. Guy comes out with a gun, and you know they try to handle the situation, but Elle says, you know, we won't have time for this. She knocks him out, and then we hear sirens as they're about to go out. I don't know who called the cops. That seems like a plot hole to me, because that guy was nowhere near where the panic button should be. But you know, whatever. That's a minor gripe.
You mean at the facility?
No, when they robbed the guy.
the two girls, his daughters. Remember they were
No, that's the guy that was in the apartment building. The place they robbed, where the toilet was overflowing. E clearly needs to rewatch the episodes because she doesn't understand right now. But moving on. Moving on from that. Let's see.
Since you talked about that store thing, you know, with the new emo outfit of 11, you know, it's like the first thing that went to my mind was like Hot Topic better have an exclusive emo looking L Funko Pop, you know. But then next thing you know, I see Box Lunch got it. Even though they're under the same umbrella, Hot Topic deserved that one. Just saying, just saying.
You could have got her outfit at Hot Topic.
I can't wear that. Maybe if they have a number 5 outfit, I'll wear that. How about that, Tony? Next Halloween.
I think you look pretty fly in that outfit.
I'm gonna need movie on stop. Just absurd. Oh, and shout out to my man Justin Thomas. Join us in the chat. Appreciate you coming by, Jay. Okay, back on track. Since y'all are determined to sidetrack things, let's bring it back. When they get to the job that they're actually supposed to do, 11, she checks, and actually this goes into what Lav said about the lookout girl. She actually said, you know, we should follow routine and stake it out, see what his movements are, and come at the most opportune time. Kali didn't want to wait. So 11 scans the apartment and sees just the man. Kali specifically asks if he was alone. She says, I only saw him. They go in, do the thing, and when it comes down to the kill moment, they find out that there's kids in there, and Kali gives no fucks at all. She still wants to get the job done, but 11 blocks her, and they end up running out, you know, almost getting caught, but they did escape. I don't feel sorry for that guy. I'm glad he got a little bit of the licks that he did, but I do agree with 11 and killing him with the kids there. That it didn't seem like there was a mom in the picture there, so those kids would be very bad off without him. So I don't know. I'm slightly on the fence with that, I think. But after that, you know, Kali has this talk with 11, and she basically gets into her head, and she sees Dr. Brenner. 11 sees Dr. Brenner come in and starts saying all this stuff to her. And I'm wondering if Kali thought up that dialogue just from her experiences that she remembers from Hawkins. Because just some of the things he says, I don't know how Kali would know to, you know, make him do that, because he wasn't actually there. It was just an illusion. But, you know, that was never explained. I'm not sure if Brenner's really alive, even though the guy said he was. I think he might have just been trying to save his ass. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll find that out later. Let's see. What was the last bit? 11 sees Hopper and Mike through the 4th dimension. She doesn't know what's happening. You know, Mike's screaming about it's a trap, and she sees Hopper. I think he was at a control panel doing something. I don't remember what. But at that same time, towards the end of what she's seeing, the cops start breaking in, and 8 does her little mind trick. The cops walk right past them. They get out, and 11 has a change of heart, and she says, "No, I need to go home." Kali gets upset and says, "You know, your friends can't save you." And 11 says, "No, you know, but I can save them. That's where I need to be right now." And Kali genuinely looks a bit distraught about 11 leaving. And I think she was genuine in her feelings. That whole sequence, those scenes, I thought wrapped up the episode pretty nicely. And I think it did show a little bit of more understanding, I guess, for Kali. And I'm hoping that she does return and we see some more of the kids in oncoming episodes. Let's see, Lavina, you go first. What's your take through the end of the ep?
Enid said something interesting in the chat about tapping into memories. And so I think I like that idea. I think maybe this is the little hint of her power up, or a little hint that her powers aren't just illusion. They can actually get into your mind. So I dig that. And then I really like, I love I love 11 at the end of this saying, like, no, they can't help me, but I can help them. And I hope it's something that got into Collie's brain, like a little, you know, a little itch in her brain to let her start thinking that maybe there's more to life than just revenge, because that's kind of a shitty way to live. So, like I said, I feel the same way. I really love that part, and I hope that Al ends up being a good influence on Collie, and I still would have shot that beady-eyed bastard in the face. I stand by it. I channel my inner little finger.
He who seeks vengeance. He who seeks vengeance, dig 2 graves. It's 2 graves, love.
That's it. Like, those kids will be fine. Shoot them in the face.
Yeah, it's your turn, Tony.
What was it again? What were we talking about? I'm sorry. My cat was fighting.
Collie and Al, that last scene, and Al seeing Al, right? I'm saying the right one. Al having her visions of Mike and Hopper, and the decision not to kill that guy because his kids were there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of shows where the two, number girls, I guess I call them, where they're at, in their life, I guess. I mean, the one's a little older and been on the street and seen probably a little more. So I think she, but 11 not wanting to do it, I think it still shows the, the little girl in her, like not so much the little girl, but like she hasn't gotten to that level that Callie's at, because I think Callie's probably, been through a lot more and had to struggle and survive on the streets, where 11 has been shown like compassion and friendship without, whatever it's called, ulterior motives. So like, her friends in Hawkins, they just want to be her friends. Like, they think she's cool because she has these powers, but it isn't that they're using her for her powers. Whereas this girl, Callie, being on the street, it's all about, and when you're on the street like that, what you can get out of the next person, and it's all a big game. So to them, her and fucking Axel and Funshine, whatever the hell his name was, that group of people, it was nothing to them to want to kill somebody in front of his kids and all that. But I think that's where they differ. It's just 11's still younger. She hasn't had to go through the trials and tribulations of living on the street. So, I mean, it was a good way to show the difference between the two. Like, yeah, they're the same because they both came out of this traumatic, experience of having to be pretty much a CIA experiment for most of your, childhood. But by then, the Duffer Brothers and the show writers of this show, it's showing, the difference between the two. Yeah, they're both on the level of, because they're special with powers and all that, they both have gone through a lot of shit. But when it comes down to, comes to pulling the trigger and snuffing somebody out just for, the fuck of it, pretty much, that it shows the difference. And I think 11 has a lot more hope with where her life is going in comparison to Callie, because 11 has people that genuinely care about her and her safety, where Callie's kind of on her own, without, I mean, she has a little gang, but I mean, come on, like, anybody that's known that, not trying to make it like, they're terrible people. Like, I've known people like that growing up. Like, I have friends that are just as bad, if not worse. And a lot of them, it's all about, what they can get out of the person, it isn't about, oh, you want to be my friend. It's like, what can you do for me? So it's like two totally different worlds, I think. And I like how they kind of showed, you know, how different the two really are from each other. BBM, did you go?
So yeah, no, I'm last one. And I'm about to prolong this until AK comes back. So if I go into Cersei mode, you know, I ran out of stuff to say. So for starters, you know, it was at this moment I was like, you know what, I don't blame Kali. You know, it was said here, it was said in the live chat, I really don't blame her for wanting to kill the guy. It's like she's been tortured, you know, and there was one point where I believe her and 11 were friends, but then the moment they took Elle away, she was like, oh shoot, they're probably gonna do even something to me, or they even like killed Elle, who was possibly a friend of mine. So then she was like basically on her own until she got family, but still, it's like the unknown, the threat looming over her. It's like, damn, these people basically took me away from my actual family. I'm not truly the same anymore. I gotta get revenge. So she sees a guy who basically has been like, electrocuting her now and again. So it's like, yeah, I want revenge. So at one point, I don't blame her. At the same time, it's like, if I see that the man got family, I'm just like, damn. Should I kill him? And then wait till like his daughters grow up, either be close to my age or even older enough to train, and they want to go kill my ass, you know? I gotta think, you know, 2 steps ahead of this, you know? I'm not surprised I even thought about killing the damn kids in the back at one point. But seriously, you go in, before going in, they were like, 11, do you see anyone else there? She's like, I can't see anyone else. I can only see that dude. So like, okay. They still go in. They ask, okay, is there anyone else here? He says no. I don't care if he says yes, no, whatever. You still double check if there's anyone. Like, seriously, is this like the first time they're doing this? But other than that, though, it's like, again, I don't blame Kali or why. I probably would have been like loud and kind of like shot him, but at the same time have like a little bit of remorse. Like, damn, I did just kill a human being, you know? So let me actually be decent, just bury him in the backyard myself with my bare hands. Collect. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Let me give a shout out to the homie King McKay stopping in, y'all. If you don't know who this man is, go to his channel, check him out. He's got some awesome vids. I know him through the Game of Thrones stuff that he does, and I think you would enjoy it. Let's see. So, well, you got. Let's do a final rating for this episode. Out of 1 out of 10. What do you give it?
I'll give it an 8.
All right.
Agree.
Rob's an 8.
8 egos.
8 egos, man.
8 egos. 8 egos. And I think I'll go. Yeah, I'll go 7.5. Actually, 7.5. 8 egos out of 10. Not a bad episode. I think it got worse rap than it actually deserved from most of the fans. So, with episode 8, we go back to our regularly scheduled programming. And let me see if I can find the wiki on that. I have this up. This episode was called The Mind Flayer. And I enjoyed it as well. Let's see. The Demogorgons invade Hawkins, and they begin killing pretty much everyone inside. Realizing that they're homing in on Will, Joyce sedates him, and you know the building systems crash. Will and I call them Team A because there's a few teams functioning right now in different areas. So Team A gets stuck in the security office. Hopper wants to go and play hero and try to get the power back on, but Bob, you know, the epic nerd that he is, comes in and says, well, it's more than just getting the power back on. You know, if you don't know how to actually reset the system and how to write the codes for it, it's not going to do you any good. So he's the one that ends up going and get everything restarted. He is successful at doing so, and everyone gets out. Dr. Owens stayed behind to, I guess, watch the cameras, make sure everybody got out. He, you know, did the same for Bob. And Bob almost made it, but he ended up getting killed at the very last moment by the Demidogs. So the group escapes and they meet up with Team B that is at the gates, and they all roll out pretty happily. Well, not happily, but they all roll out quickly. So realizing that the shadow creature is controlling Will and the Demidogs, the group reasons that they can interrogate it. They tie Will up in the tool shed, block out everything so he doesn't know where he is. And they start questioning him. They also give him snippets of their memories of him growing up. Hopper notices that Will is using Morse code, tapping out a message. The message reads, "Close the gate," and then the home phone rings. And that triggers Will to let him, the Mind Flayer, know where they are. And the Demidogs, they are on the way to attack them. Will, I believe, gets sedated again before everything goes down, but it's too late. You know, the Demidogs are already coming in. And I believe that is where we end that episode. So, first off, what is you guys's, what's your thoughts on the whole episode as a whole? BBM, you go first.
Oh, this episode was enjoyable. Not gonna lie. Saying that all the damn time. But not, you know, the last episode was good, but this was this was excellent, though. You killed Bob. It just confirmed my B tinfoil. Your name begins with a B, you ain't lasting long in this series. They took down Barbara, they took down Bob, Billy, you're next. You're next. But yeah, it was interesting, you know, very, you know, thank goodness they just like low-key got the Morse code tapping thing. They caught on to that. We learned a little bit more of Bob's backstory about like he was involved with the school. I wish that was like mentioned a little bit earlier. So maybe we can actually just know about that, whatever. Maybe not. Maybe it has some impact. I don't know. But lastly, you know, we did see 11 like come save the day at the end, you know. She got to see Mike. They didn't kiss, but you know what? Thank goodness they actually like changed that scene. So I remember like, I'm sure if I like heard it right, but I think it was like she's supposed to like return and meet the group at the last episode, but then they decided to bump it up in this episode. So I'm happy that happened. Other than that, hell of an episode. Not gonna lie.
Tony.
Yeah, I gotta agree with David. I really liked it. I felt kind of bad for Bob, man. I don't know. I was like, I know Bob was probably, you know, wishing he was back at the Goondocks and had one of, you know, Data's booty traps to help with them Demogorgons. But, you know, I was hoping he was going to channel his inner Goonies and get through that somehow. But I don't know, man. I felt bad. And then it was kind of sucked, though, at the end when he's like, he had to come through and you know that friggin', you know, 10 feet from the finish line and be like, yeah, I did it. And then the fucking thing jumped his ass. He could have made it out the door. I mean, I guess he could have. I mean, but I always hate that in movies. It's like you can almost call it. Like when they get through this, like, you know, it just like through this situation where it's just so impossible. And they're like, oh, my God, they made it. And they're not yet there. Like me, I know I'm probably speaking for most people. If something like that is chasing me, I'm going to make sure that I am within some kind of barrier through some kind of way where I know I'm in the clear. I don't care if the best looking girl's waiting for me at the door with her shirt ripped open. Like, I don't care. I want to survive. You know what I mean? So like, it just, I don't know. Like I always hate that in movies. You just know they're going to die. Like, as soon as he did that, they showed that, like, slow motion, like, yeah, I'm the shit. Like, this cat's dead. You know what I mean? So it's like, that pissed me off, though, about that part. But I still felt bad for Bob because, like, you know, and then, like, what BBM said about how they brought up the point how, like, he was the one that started the AVA club or whatever hell that thing's called that the kids are involved in. But, like, you would think, you know, that would have been brought up before, like, you know, to show he has, like, this kind of connection with the kids and being smart and all that, but I don't know. And then the way that Joyce like got to the point where, you know, she was like real quick stab Will with whatever the hell that was they knocked him out with. Because at first she's like, she understands what's going on, but she doesn't want to hurt Will and all that. But by that time, she's like, fuck, give me the needle, and like just jab me with it. But I did like the whole Morse code thing too, how they called on that. It was pretty crafty how the story writers did that to make it show the part of Will that's still Will, and not the spy or whatever the hell it was called. So yeah, I rather enjoyed it. It was very it was visually stimulating, just the whole the thing with the Demogorgons, and then having to watch like Bob through the camera and everything. It was pretty neat. Just everything was great outside of the whole pulling up before the finish line, friggin' celebration. Other than that, it was great.
It's a celebration. And y'all don't know it, but I almost died over here. Enid's dumbass in the chat.
Oh yeah.
About show me your titties later. But I agree. Damn it, we are running from monsters. I ain't got time to get my dick wet. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, Lavina.
Should have channeled Sam. Sam, got what he needed to do with the ring. Then he returned to the Shire and got laid. But,
no, you know what? Right. He shouldn't have tapped into his inner Goonies. He should have tapped into his inner Samwise Gamgee. Damn it.
He channeled the wrong person, huh? He said, we're Goondocks. We never die.
Well, you done died this time.
Oh, now. Thinking about that pussy.
Go ahead, Lav.
My Bob, he spiked the ball right before the like at the 1 yard line. He started celebrating, spiked that ball at the 1 yard line. I love you, Bob, but that was dumb as hell. So this was action-packed. I loved it. I loved how it showed Joyce knew her son. Like, she was willing to put him under because with one question, who am I? Do you know who I am? And that's it. She was like, nope, you're spying. You're down. I love that. I loved how Bob like manned up and he went and he did what he had to do. He was scared shitless, and this is why I love him. He was scared shitless. He still went and did what he had to do. I have to pick on Dustin a little more because Steve, was it Steve or Jonathan who's over there trying to open the gate, but since the power's not on, they can't. And Dustin's all, move, let me try. And all he does is push the button too. And then Bob opens the gate and he's all, I did it. It's like, no, you little mocoso, cabron. You didn't do shit. It was Bob, okay? It was Bob.
Leave Dustin alone.
No.
When I saw that, I was like, there you go, Dustin. There's your ego again. You better check that. It was Bob, okay? Every time I watch,
I fucking hate you. Stop doing that.
Oh Lord. So every time I watch this, if you guys have ever seen La Bamba, do you know at the end where she's all, not my Richie, Bob, not my Richie? It's like the reverse of that. I'm like, no, not my Bob. Why my Bob? It was horrible. It ripped my heart out. It was great. I loved it. I loved this episode.
And yes, I enjoyed it as well. So, fucking Tony. Oh, goodness. Where are we? Okay. So the alarms are going off. And actually, no, before that. The demi-dogs are attacking. Well, one came up. And, the scientist, he's like, that's a special type of glass. It can't break. And once the demi-dog, hits it a few times, he's like, okay, I got something for you. And he sends out the banners, calls in reinforcements, and the glass starts cracking in like 3 seconds. And they're still standing there. It takes the glass actually breaking in one place to get them to sound the alarm and then start running. So we cut to the hallways. There's a bunch of chaos, and everybody's running around screaming. But the MPs that are there are just strolling through the hallway. No one thinks to pick up their pace a little bit, have your weapons drawn, And who were some of the first people to die? Them damn MPs. They were serious red shirts in there fucking up. Just it was absurd. So let's see. We got a recap or redo, I guess, of the elevator scene that we saw from the first season. And it seemed like the scientists in that case made it out, but the ones this time, they were all dead. It didn't matter at all. So let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Then everybody gets trapped in the security room. Team A gets trapped in the security room, and they have the discussion, set up their plan. Samwise has to go and turn on the power and the computers and whatnots, and then we will go from there. At that point, up to that point, how do you guys feel about how they strategized everything? And also, specifically with Joyce, knowing right away that she needed to go ahead and put Will down, since nobody listened to Mike when he was trying to warn them. Why does no one listen to these damn kids sometimes? Seriously, adults be fucking up on this show.
They're the one that pulled all this shit together.
It's atrocious. So, Lavina, let's start with you.
It seemed the only people that didn't have their heads up their asses was our group, was Joyce and Mike and Hopper and Bob. They're the only ones that weren't just sitting there like just staring, oh shit, what happened? Like, these people had so much ego that they just thought they were, yeah, we've got this under control. We've got this under control, that when it blew up in their face, they had no clue what to do. And our little group did. I mean, like I said, Bob, like, he would go and do what he had to do. Hopper was willing to do it even though he didn't know how to do it. Mike, like, he loves his friend, but he was like, no, he's spying on us. We need to put him under. And Joyce listened. Joyce asked her question, looked at her son. She knew her son, and she's like, nope, you're right. Hold him down. She just tells him, hold him down, And as a mom, I know how hard that would be to do, to have my kids screaming like, no, and I still have to do, whatever I have to do to them. So I thought it showed how much better our group was than these stupid scientists and soldiers, these red shirts. And I'm still very suspicious of the doctor, although this is like the part where you kind of think like, oh, maybe he's not such a bad guy. But I don't know. I still have like a little itch in my brain about Owen. Is it Owen? Yeah. I think it's Owen, yeah. Yeah. I'm suspicious of him. But other than that, I mean, I thought our group did really good until Bob screwed it up right at the end. But other than that, they were on point.
Tony.
Yeah, I had to agree with Lav, like, about the whole, like, Joyce being able to step up and give him that shot. Like, I remember when my daughter was getting her ears pierced, like, I had to literally walk to the other wing of the mall so I didn't have to hear her cry. And like, because I was so against her mom doing it, because like I don't like seeing, like, even like going to the doctor getting shots, like, I can't be in the room. Like, that shit breaks my heart, even though it's for a purpose. It's hard to have to sit there and, like, if I had to do it, I don't think I could. Like, it's hard to see your kids, like, even if it's just a temporary pain, like, you know what I mean? And so, like, I give her a lot of credit. She's a lot stronger than I think I could have been. But yeah, just the whole that I think I like the most, because in the first season, you really showed like how unwound Joyce was when it came to Will, and when they thought, like, Will was dead or didn't know where he was. She was the only one that was thinking that, she knew he was still alive. Knew he communicated with her through the Christmas lights and shit, where everybody else thought, oh, this is kooky Joyce, and she was the only one, maybe the friends too, but I'm saying, like, as an adult, like, you expect that out of kids, but like with the adult, she was the only one. And it shows like the progression of Joyce to the point now she's willing to, do what she's got to do, even though that's her baby. Like Lob said, she knew, like what he said, it wasn't her son, so she was quick to, hit him with the shot. and it speaks a lot for where she has came, or where she, you know, has come to this point as a character in this show. But I mean, other than that, man, I don't really have much to say. But yeah, I really did dig seeing the progression of Joyce. Like, she's all about, you know, getting the shit done now, whereas like the first season, you know, she was really like spun out and didn't know. I mean, and you can't expect her to be any other way. I mean, that's your kid. You know, nobody can say how they would react to that unless it was their kid, especially when you got some old otherworldly shit going on. Like, you're gonna think you're going crazy. So I mean, that's it.
BBM.
For starters, if you get emotional from just, you know, doctor's visit with your daughter, imagine if she steps on a Lego. The pain of a Lego is 10 times worse than a shot. Just saying. Quote me on that. But again, the parents, and not just parents, it's the adults in general. I don't know. I don't know what's up. Not even that, though. Jonathan's in that room as well. I don't think Jonathan did anything progressive or anything. So adults and Jonathan, too. He's just there. Filler.
Jonathan isn't in there.
No, I swear he wasn't there?
No.
No, Jonathan was outside at the gate.
Yeah.
Jonathan was in Nancy. That's where he was at.
So I sworn when they interviewed, Will, he asked, oh, wait, who's this person? I think he said his brother. I think Jonathan was there, but I don't know.
That was a previous episode.
Oh, so he's not even there anymore. Okay, good. All right. So even if Jonathan was there, I highly doubt he'd been any progression there anyway. But again, quote me there. Quote me there, Tony. You know it too. Unless he needs to take the photograph or be there for Nancy, yeah, it's nothing. I'm sorry, no. Unless he's plotting to sit on the Iron Throne, you know, being like the next prodigy for Littlefinger, I don't know. But that's all I gotta say for that. It's like the adults gotta step up, because next season, if they're gonna follow these same tropes, like, I don't know. It's like I don't have to be afraid for like the adults really. I just have to be afraid for the demi-dog or demi-lion or whatever the next demo something's gonna be or the Mind Flayer itself. That's the only thing I have to worry about. That and whoever got hatched in that damn egg in season 1 ending. You know, that's the only thing I gotta be worried about. When it comes to adults and be like, all right, you're gonna probably just get kidnapping, whatever, but I'm gonna escape. You're probably not gonna kill me.
I just hope they don't, you know, change up Jonathan too much now. They got a little taste, you know what I mean? I don't want to come in with the pompadour like Steve and shit, thinking he's cool. I want him to keep him the way he is, you know. Just because you get a little taste don't change you.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen with Jonathan. Not at all.
He's still taking photos. You know, he was taking photos at the ball in the last episode, but it's like it was taking photos of kids.
Yeah, he still got that creep shit going on.
Make sure he got all those photos.
that was in a professional setting. It was at the dance. Cut it out.
Tell that to the judge, AK. Tell that to the judge.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But let's wrap up everything with this first scene. I don't know if you guys have ever played Outlast or Outlast Whistleblower. It's one of those horror games, you know, a guy has to go in and figure out why all these people died in an institution. And in the game, it's like pitch black in most parts. And you have to shine like your flashlight on your camera to see where you're going. Mm-hmm. That's what the scene with Bob going to reset the breakers reminded me of. It's dark. He only has a flashlight. He unlike
that didn't remind you of Sam going into Shinong's lair. Come on now, AK.
Nah,
come on.
I think it was more lit in Shelob's lair than it was in Outlast.
Yeah, Outlast is a good comparison. That game.
I mean, dead bodies laying everywhere.
Right.
Crazy ass creatures running around, jump scares because of random sounds being made.
You got the naked bald dudes jerking off in the corner.
Really? Yeah, there's
I mean, that's what I saw.
Nakedness in that game. It's very.
See, that would probably been Jonathan if Jonathan was in that episode. Just saying.
No, he'd be taking pictures of the guy jerking off.
That too.
That's going too far. But anyways, you know, Bob almost made it. He almost made it, but he stopped and had to smile and wave for whatever reason instead of just going out the door. They could have all made it out, but you know, it didn't work out. You know, they leave and they end up connecting with teams B and C, who have now all met up at the front gate, and you know, they escape and go into the planning at Joyce's house. But before that, or while that was happening, Max and Billy's parents finally make an appearance and come in. You know, Billy is being ridiculous in getting ready. I think he spends more time on his hair than most females do. But I don't know about that kid. I really don't. But, you know, the parents find out that Max is missing. Max's dad questions Billy about what happened. Billy gives attitude. Pops is not hearing any of it. And he snatches him up, you know, gives him the smackdown for being rude, makes him apologize to stepmom, and then sends him out the door to go and find where Max is. So my only question is, with that, do you guys feel sorry for Billy? I honestly don't, because he's been a raging jackass since the beginning. What do you guys think? Lavina, you go first.
I wanted to feel bad, but I just didn't. When Billy's dad was smacking him around, I was like, oh, this is probably why Billy's the way he is, but that little shit deserves it. Give him a little smack on the head. There is nothing to say about Billy except he's a total and complete douchebag. Like, I have yet to see any redeeming qualities in this dude. Like, he's over there doing his hair and loving up on himself for way too long. Like, he's really into his reflection. Like, he's there looking at this and then checking out his ass. And he's just, he's so gross. Can't stand Billy. I'm glad he got smacked around some. But objectively, I guess I have to admit that's probably why he is the way he is. Because his dad's whooping his ass all the time. I don't know. Probably more to it than that, but yeah, it's hard to like Billy. Hard. I like to see someone make an argument for Billy. I'd really love to hear that.
You're gonna hear one from me.
I'm sure we'll get one. BBM. All right, go ahead, Tony. Then we'll let BBM rant about nonsense.
Nah, I think I kind of agree with Lavina, but the thing is, like, what I do is for a job, like I deal with that kind of shit. So it's like, you know, you got a lot of times, you know, he's a little younger. So, I mean, I don't know, but like dealing with like adults, usually when it comes to the way somebody acts, or if they have like a certain addiction or you know, it's usually deep rooted to like certain events that have some, and I could see, you know, usually people that are bullied and picked on, especially by like people they look up to as like parent figures, you know, they tend to, you know, bring that. It's just like it's like a kid that witnesses their mom get beat by their dad. A lot of times, not saying it always happens that way, but a lot of times they get older, they tend to do the same thing, be a product of their environment. So I kind of that little bit of part of me understands with Billy. It's still hard to not like him though. Like he is really like, and it's the thing about it is he's like picking on these little kids, and then it's like, yeah, he does what he does with Steve and all that, but like I don't know, like I it's hard for, like you said, it's hard to root for Billy, you know. But like I know one thing I am rooting for Billy on. I hope he does knock off Mike's mom, because she is kind of milfy. So, I mean, he's got one good thing going for him, probably, because I really think Mike's mom is wanting that whole what's that Danielle Steele novel experience. But other than that, yeah, it's hard to get into Billy. But yeah, I kind of understand, because I see it every day with people I deal with. And it's like, you know, it's not an excuse. After so long, I guess it's easier with adults, because like after a while you gotta realize, you know, and do whatever you gotta do to work on that deep-seated shit that makes you do and act the way you do. And in the same sense of, it's not an excuse, you can't use it as an excuse. But in a way, I can see, you know, how that's supposed to be his dad, supposed to be his role model and his idol to look up to, and here he is calling him gay and all this shit. I mean, it don't help when you spraying a whole bottle of Aquanet on one curl. You know what I mean? So I don't really got much else to say about that.
I just want to second that. I hope Billy gets it on with mom. Just want to second that.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we have this this rant about Billy.
I'm not going to be ranting,
but then again, this is the guy that rants about Cersei and Jamie and how he loves them. So, go on.
Oh my goodness! So again, the starters. Ever since I watched this episode and the finale, I don't think Billy is gay anymore. It could be a chance, but I don't think so. With his father saying, what are you doing in the mirror, whatever, saying you're a faggot. And I'm like, there are times when kids be doing like a little bit of feminist things, and then the first thing either their father or their friends might say, hey, what are you doing? Are you gay or whatever? So that's what kind of like how I translate it off to. Second, him off doing his hair thing, whatever. I see that with my brother every single time when he's in the damn bathroom, brushing his damn hair so he can get the waves. So that's how I translate that scene. Even then, when guys be getting ready, get on their dates and whatnot, they be checking themselves out, whatever, seeing how they impress themselves. No, that's how I saw it. Maybe that's been a guy just do. But even we're females. Don't y'all do the same thing when y'all be getting ready? Not only you get in the mirror like that.
Therein is the point. I mean, does your brother be checking out how his ass looks in the mirror?
Well, every time I just even see a glimpse of that, I just shut the damn door, and walk away. That's me. Like, what he does at his time is him now. Like, but when I see him in the bathroom, it's like, whoosh, it's your privacy, boy. It's the bathroom. But I got a little bit of sympathy for the devil here. Just like when it came to, was it Henry Bowler or whatever from it? It's like the same thing when I saw it in the movies. It's just like he was just bullied. I'm just like, okay, what made him this way? And then when we saw the scene with him and his father, it's like, okay, now I get it. The same thing with him. It's like the father. It was like the same thing. Just like how in episode, was it 1, where he was like having an argument with Max. He said like, say it, like repeating it. It was like the same thing with the damn father. So it's like, okay, now I understand the whole damn issue here. I'm not saying it's all justified, but now there's like actual reason towards it. And I'm like feeling sorry for him a bit. I'm not going to go running to get a Funko Pop of freaking Billy if it ever comes out. I'm not going to. I'll be tempted, but I'm not going to go buy it.
What if they made a double box with him and Mike's mom?
Okay, then I'll buy it. There's a reason. There's a reason there.
I want to say Billy didn't just check himself out in the mirror. He looked like he was ready to make out with himself in the mirror. Like,
he was
getting ready for a date.
In the damn mirror.
Yeah, like he gets it, but he's like looking like he is in love with himself, and it's just like off-putting.
Yeah, I agree. Man, all right, let's see here. Max, Steve, Lucas, and Dustin, they're on the railroad tracks. And with this discussion, it makes me think about, Mike and Will. Mike, at that point in time, knows that Will is now an agent of the enemy, and he does not hesitate to take precautions on the next moves. Meanwhile, Dustin is still here trying to argue that it wasn't wrong for him to keep Dart. Bruh, after your cat got eaten, that was the time for you to say, no, bitch, no. But you didn't. You're still trying to hide everything that happened, everything that you did. So I don't feel bad for Dustin, getting the word smackdown from Lucas.
No, I'm gonna stop it there.
Shush. But with that, also, do you think that because Dustin might be so easily swayed to befriend something from the Upside Down, do you think that might actually lead him into being a supervillain in the making in future seasons? Tony, you go first.
Say that one more time. The makings for what?
Do you think it's going to make him become like a willing agent of the Mind Flayer if he's on a path to darkness, like Lav theorized in the last video?
And we're talking about who?
Dustin.
Dustin. All right, I was just making sure. Yeah. I think Dustin's kind of hard for me to put a finger on because I think Dustin is so likes to immerse himself so much in the science fiction fantasy. Like he seems like, you know, like you always see him when it comes to like, you know, when they were trying to figure out the chamber, like ask the science teacher like how much salt they need and all. Like I think he's too curious for his own good. And then it didn't help with Dart when you had like him and Lucas both, you know what I mean, like it Max. And when he realized his tiger purr and his new fronts wasn't gonna do it, you know, he almost felt like he was alone, I guess. You know, so Dart was like this, you know, the normal person's like dog, you know, man's best friend kind of thing. And Dart kind of showing him, you know, that, you know, a little bit of you know, caring because, you know, he's feeding him or whatever. But it's just like having we were talking about before with having like a wild animal as a pet, like as a baby. Yeah, as a baby they're all cute and cuddly, but you know, you can't remove that, you know, like wildness from them. So it was like for him being as smart as he is, at the age he is or whatever, as smart as you can be for his age, like you would think he would at least looked into that, but he kind of let all the other stuff blind him. And I do feel his curiosity and his the way he likes or loves science fiction fantasy, that he would make a good point. I think he'd be more willing participant when it came to you know, the upside down and anything that it entails. I think if he had the same thing like Will, one of these things go down his throat and all that, and wanted to basically use him as a vessel, I think he'd be, you know, like, fuck it, let's do it, you know, because it's like he's just so curious with that world and everything that comes with it. So it is I never thought of it like that. That Dustin, if the roles were switched and Dustin was Will, I think they would have had a lot more harder time getting done what they did with Will, because even though, you know, this thing has like taken over him and using him like the spy or whatever, like there was still enough will inside to try to channel his friends with the, you know, the example, the Morse code tapping or whatever. I think Dustin would have been a lot harder to get the inner Dustin, because I think Dustin would welcome it too much, just because, you know, like they say, curiosity kills a cat kind of thing. So it's all right being curious and stuff, but you can't let it, like, you know, it's almost like everything goes back to Game of Thrones, I know, but like with Bran constantly wanting to go on the Weirwood net, and then, you know, Blood Raven having to tell him, like, you stay there too long, you know, you'll get stuck or whatever. And I think it's the same kind of thing with Dustin.
That's a good call. Yeah, I like that comparison a lot. BBM, did you go already?
No, I kind of interrupted you, but they were like, okay, we get back to you. Starters, hashtag leave Dustin alone. About to say Justin. No, leave Dustin alone. Secondly, it's like, at one point in the beginning, I was like, you know what, Dustin, you're an idiot. You're going to get everyone killed with Dart. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, gotta play devil's advocate. He's a kid. What do you expect from kids? It's like, I don't know. He didn't expect Dart to attack him. And so far, leading up to this episode, again, he hasn't attacked him. At one point, I thought that this was going to be the episode where Dart was going to come out of nowhere and kill him. But this wasn't it. It still hasn't been an episode where Dart even made a move towards him. Granted, he did scream at him. Before you know, he just wanted a hug, damn it. And you just ran. That's all he probably wanted. He wanted was a damn hug. You know, this goes back to the Night King and John. He just wanted a hug. But nope, he left. Just hug someone, damn it.
I'm sorry. I got me crying up. He said, embrace the ass and the smell goes away. Oh my god, yo, I could be in the worst mood possible if I go on Twitter and just pull up Iron Tree and he puts me in the best mood. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Man, I don't be trying to eat the Buddha like groceries. That's basically what he's saying.
No.
I mean, it ain't my thing, but you know, if that's what you do, bro, you know, be you. Oh God, Lav, did you talk about this already?
I think I've said what I need to say about Dustin. Okay. I mean, I do believe that his curiosity is going to get him or them in trouble. He's really, really smart, but he doesn't know when to stop, I don't think. And he's so bossy. Like, this kid is so fucking bossy. Me and him would be at each other like crazy. Like, two bossy people don't mix. But yeah, he is so freaking bossy that it's adorable, but I see trouble coming in the horizon of Dustin's life.
Yeah, I agree. It might happen. But we'll see.
They should make a shirt where Justin's face making that face with his new front going. Grrr. I'd buy it.
Yes!
Yeah, that's a no. That's a no. I would not be buying that piece of merchandise. Oh goodness! All right, let's see.
I'll buy it if it actually does the purr.
Yeah, he's got a little like the little animals you squeeze just come up and touch you on the chest and it's
yeah, you gotta like push Dustin's nose or something and it'll purr at you.
See, you're on the same page. That's what I like.
Forget both of y'all and your ridiculousness. Oh goodness. Okay. Anyway, back at the house now. Everyone has escaped the lab. Hopper tries to comfort Joyce. And the kids talk about how Bob was the founder of the AV club, and you know, Mr. Clark, their science teacher, I believe. He is, you know, he learned everything that he knows from Bob. So inspired by his memory, they start coming up with a plan, and they let Hopper and Joyce and everyone know about the mind flayer theory. And you know, it's going good for a while, but then Dustin tries to do some extra shit and ends up agreeing with Hopper that no, it is just a game. And to a certain point, you can use Dungeons and Dragons to, you know, get clues and everything about everything that's going on. But all the extra shit that Dustin was talking to, trying to call up another being or something, he knows that can't happen, dude. You can't apply that to the real world. That's one part of Dungeons and Dragons you have to leave out. But they go ahead and figure out what is going to happen. This is where they put Will, I believe, into the shed, block off everything, and they start questioning him. How do you guys feel about what they actually did in that surroundings? Like, they all gave him, you know, snippets of memories that they have of him. You know, Hopper then notices that he's typing Morse code, and it seems like it's Will that's doing that, while, you know, the being that's inhabiting him is trying to figure out where it is, I guess. And then the phone rings and everything goes to hell. So for up to that point, what do you guys think? And was it not smarter to maybe just unplug like anything that could make a noise first before all this started? Or are people just fucking up again? BBM, you go first this time.
For starters, good thing they were doing the Morse code, though. It's like, if they didn't know about that, then I guess Will would have been possessed from here on out. Who knows? But it's like they really had no other way for Will to actually communicate ever since the episode where they like burned that whatever. So then it was like, okay, how on earth they're gonna freaking communicate with Will? Unless they're gonna give him like some damn crayons before we know that whoever the mind flayer is gonna like just throw the damn crayons aside and then like, no, I don't draw. Like, that could have been like one other thing they could have done. It was like present him like a paper and crayon to see if he could actually draw or something. Or just been like, I don't want to draw. Like, that could have been like another hint that he was damn possessed though. Then I forgot like how the phone ringing was a clue to something. I forgot that part of the episode. Remind me.
He recognizes his phone, the ring of his phone. so he knows.
Um,
What I don't
true,
remember is
true.
who called, but
Exactly.
I don't think they ever said. They picked it up. Dustin picked it up and slammed it down. Then it rang again, and Nancy ripped it out the wall. They never said who was calling, but I would suspect that maybe it was Mike's mom.
Or 11.
Ah, that is true. There could have been. Could have been.
They
That
can't
or
show who it is, right? Don't they show who's calling or no?
No, they don't.
mm-mm.
Oh.
Is that like the same person who's been calling since like what, episode 1, where it kept ringing and like no one bothered to answer this damn phone? So
Yeah,
it's
because
just this running gag now.
remember the episode where they're watching like a movie as a family and the phone rings and Joyce looks back and Bob's like, it's just a prank call. Like, what does she just get random like phone calls with nobody on the other end? Like, I was wondering that myself.
So true.
It could have been. It could have been the the upside down, the Demogorgon, whatever shadow monster, literally like knowing where like I don't know. I guess that wouldn't make much sense if he knew Will was in his shed and like made the phone call from like the upside down to get Will to realize where he's at. But that I guess wouldn't make too much sense. If he knew where Will was, he wouldn't have to hear his own phone, to find out where he's at. I don't know.
Exactly.
But at the end of the episode, actually, that could make sense though, because didn't Will like use the phone last time to communicate with his moms when he was in the upside down? So maybe I don't know.
Oh yeah, maybe Will.
It's like, what can Will do?
Yeah, maybe Will was trying to use it to get his mom's attention to go answer it. Yeah, but I guess I don't know. I would think Will would think that would be too risky by giving up his whereabouts. I don't know. I mean, it's valid, it's plausible.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Now that I thought about it,
we'll see. Tony, why don't you go ahead and give your thoughts on the scene? Really, it was Target. Go ahead, Tony.
It was Target. Yeah, the scene in the shed. That's what we're talking about, right?
I'm sorry. What?
We're talking about the scene in the shed and shit.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I did like how they he did the tapping thing and the Morse code, but like it was weird how they took the shed and they literally took like everything out of it. But like I think they did it now. I can't remember this part too much with what they did with the shed. In the shed, did they like line the shed with like all one color, like trash bags or something?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I think it was like trash bags and some sheets and tarp or something.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about that at first because when you were just talking about that, I was thinking to myself, well, even if the stuff was taken out, like you would still kind of have a visual memory of what the inside looked like. But I forgot that they had covered the shit up. But yeah, I thought they went about it good. Like I was waiting the whole time for something to give up the location of Will, and I'm like trying to think in my head what it would be. And one thing I did not think of was the phone ringing. But then too, with that, like those phones back then, I mean, I was born in the 80s and I remember having the puke green cord phone that had the cord that would stretch 150 feet across the house, and they all had the same ring. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be like Will's got that one pea green cord phone from the Woolworths that has a different ring, So I didn't really I didn't agree too much with that being, the factor to tell Will where he's at. But other than that, like I thought it was pretty good. I thought like it was real neat how they did like to show that it's Will. And even that's another thing I was gonna say, when they were in the facility and they're asking them all them questions, like even to me that wouldn't be a deciding factor if it's Will or not, because if this thing's inside of him and say this thing has access to his brain, that could be used as a ploy. Like of course you're not gonna like you don't want to go too like off to the side with it. Like how like Mike would say, you remember me, and he's going like, of course, because something that's a memory like that's so ingrained into your mind that like because they've been friends forever, they hang out every day together. Even if he was this shadow thing or whatever, was trying to manipulate the others to making it think it was really Will, you're not going to act like you don't remember
the real, you know, in depth in your mind shit. You're gonna say you don't know who like somebody you just met last year to make it seem plausible, you know. So like I didn't understand just because he, you know, said he remembered a couple people that would even matter. Like I would be thinking the whole time if this thing's using him as a spy, you know, then I would think this thing would be capable of, you know, manipulating from inside Will's head.
Yeah, I dig that. Air Water just said something cool in the chat. She said it was probably the backup that Hopper called because he was on the phone talking to someone in law enforcement, telling them everything that was happening, and he did give them the phone number in case they needed to contact him back.
Teresa's handler, forget her name.
Becky.
There we go. She could have been calling because remember first she called Hopper, but I don't think she got anything. So maybe she also has the number of Joyce.
Oh so my God, Becky! Look at her butt.
I think that is possible, but I don't know. I don't know. I think I like the idea better that it was, you know, maybe military or whoever Hop called trying to reach him back. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll see next season. Lav, I believe it's on you.
The way I interpreted this was that they felt like the mind flayer was taking over Will and actual Will was kind of disappearing. And so they were telling him the stories to try to keep Will holding on until they could figure out a way to get rid of the mind flayer. That's how I took it. So that's how I took the stories, trying to like bring Will out, maybe help him fight the mind flayer or the, I forgot what it's called, the smoke, whatever.
Yeah, the shadow monster, but it's
shadow monster. Yeah, that's how I took that part, that they were trying to hold on to Will as much as they could. And it did kind of work because that's when Will starts doing the Morse code and he is trying to hold on and he is remembering his people. I think by that point the mind flayer, though I cannot remember the other name for him, knows that the jig is up. They know he's there. As soon as Joyce put Will to sleep, he knew that there was no tricking them anymore. They know he's in there. So I think he wasn't even bothering pretending anymore. He was just trying to get all the information he could. And Will was getting kind of killed in the process. As far as the ringtone, that's the first thing I thought when it happened. I was like, well, they could be anywhere. It could be anybody's phone ringing. Like, how does he know it's his phone? But then I thought about it. Like nowadays, when we all have our digital phones, our ringtones are exactly the same. Back then, it was an actual bell in there shaking around. Everybody's was a little bit off. And then you kind of know your ringtone from how it sounds on this side of the house to that side of the house. Like little tiny things that you kind of internalize and you don't think about. But you do, like you can tell like, oh, that's my phone. I left it in this room. I hear it from that room. It's mine. So to me, that's how I rationalized it. But I'm with you, Tony. My first thought was like, well, it could be anybody's phone. It's just a phone ringing. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, back then, everybody's phone was a little bit off. And then maybe he would be playing outside a lot, so he would know what his phone sounded like from inside. And it was just enough of a giveaway for him to latch on to. So I don't know. That's how I rationalized that. But I thought it was really cool how they would tell him stories, and we get to kind of know Will through the stories, and it kind of gets you like invested in saving Will from this being, you know. And when you see him doing the Morse code, you're like, yes, he's still there. They're winning. He's still in there somewhere. We still have hope. So yeah, I really enjoyed the whole scene. I enjoyed all of that. Damn phone ringing.
Yeah,
I can't talk shit because my phone rang as soon as I started talking. So
that's a good point you did make, because I didn't even think about that. Like I remember when I was younger, and we had one of those kind of phones, and I remember because you were just talking about the actual bell inside. I remember from ours getting dropped so much because it was on like the wall, so it would constantly like fall off and stuff. So like after a while, that bell got such a like dead sound. It was like it wasn't real loud. It was all like half alive, and like the bell was like hanging on to a thread to stay alive. So it did have like the like Adam's Family ring to it. It was all low and creepy sounding. So that's a good point. I didn't even think about it because that would make a big difference because, like you said, they have that. If you literally take one of them phones apart, it's got a friggin' little gold bell inside, and you know the repetitions of the banging of the bell and the way it could sound after like being rung so many times, it starts to like die out a little. So I never really thought of it that way. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's how I rationalized it. I remember phones sounding slightly different because we don't have it digitalized like we do now. But yeah, that's all I really had to say about it.
All right. So there's a small portion, before or while they were doing the setup for the shed, that Dustin took a little bit of time out to talk to Lucas and, apologize for his behavior, and then basically told him that, I'm out the game. Max is all yours. I saw the electricity. I'm not trying to get in between that. And Lucas, he's a kid. He doesn't want to hope, I think, too much that it would happen. So he tries to play it off like, she was just scared. That's why she was holding my hand. And Dustin was like, bruh, just trust me. she's your girlfriend.
Lucas is a straight pimp. Hey,
what the hell is Lucas pimping?
He got them ginger girls. He got him a ginger.
It's been a while that I said this. Fuck Lucas.
Man, Lucas is my man. They try to single out Lucas and make him be friggin' Winston in the Ghostbusters.
Right.
But didn't he say a line that Winston say in Ghostbusters? I forgot what it was, but the writers made him say that, so it's like, come on.
I don't know what's wrong with Winston. Winston was funny. Winston was the cute one. What's wrong with Winston?
He wasn't a scientist.
Yeah, that was the thing. He was just they picked him off the street.
He had a hearse. That's all I need.
But no, there's nothing wrong with Winston, but I understand why Lucas didn't want to play him.
But then he's like, oh, I have to be. Why? Say it, because I'm black? Like, I should be cracking up.
Okay, there's a small chat thing in the chat. BBM saying that 11 needs to learn how to fly because she's Jean Grey, so she should be doing Jean Grey things. And I agree, but Jean had to practice and level up her powers to get to that. So we're seeing the origins of 11 still. She's got to practice some more to upgrade.
In the defense, Jean Grey had the Phoenix on her at the time, so it's like she just has to unlock it.
Yeah, I'd really like to see like an episode where they have like 11 just going like one-on-one or like taking out like 10 people like in a fight. Like 11 was
11
like
needs?
What?
And J-Town said a bit of it in the chat too. She says she needs a professor. So she does need a professor, because if she did go to the school for the gifted, then she would have a danger room to practice in. So right. I agree, J-Town. She needs a professor.
11,
I just want to see her good.
11 is Ray. She needs a Luke. The last 11.
You know who her Luke's gonna be, right? Number 5.
This damn number 5.
Number 5, stay alive.
You know what? When it comes to number 5, Johnny, number 5 is he's the second number 5 I think of. My first number 5 is number 5 on The Kids Next Door. She was the coolest in the group.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
How can number 5 be younger than number 11?
Maybe he's got one of his powers is an anti-aging thing.
So he's Ash Ketchum?
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about, girl. Don't act like you don't.
Shut the hell up.
That's why you're my sister, because we think alike. We share the same brain.
J-Tom, why are you surprised? She said in the chat, wait, Star Wars lovers are here? I told you, we are well-rounded nerds, man. We be on our shit.
Shit.
Always the tone of surprise, to quote Ron Weasley.
Star Wars.
Shit, Star Wars has been my jam way longer than Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Eduardo says, is number 5 a boy or a girl? We don't know.
He's a boy. He was wearing a cowboy outfit at Halloween. Why do you think he gave Hop the candy? Because he felt that one of his, what are they called?
You think that little boy is number 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think we're talking about?
Yeah, he said, how can he be younger than 11? Because he's before her. But you never know. Maybe there was like 11 kids all at one time, and they just went down the road from shortest to tallest, and that's how they got their numbers.
I suppose that might explain why he wasn't like the middle of nowhere by himself.
Oh yeah, the stronger you are, like come on,
higher the number.
Almost
Higher the number.
Anti-aging, I'm telling you right now. And he can't be hurt. He's like a little mix of Wolverine and who's one that's got immortality.
I would say Deadpool. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But he heals too. He's kind of like Wolverine, where he just heals back. Like, is there like any kind of like factor that you could happen or that you could use to kill somebody like that? Like a lot of times when you say like immortality, it's like they're just not going to die of a natural death, but you're still able to be hurt and like stabbed through the heart and killed. Yeah, so it's like
Sarah just said who I was thinking, Arya.
True.
You give Arya a bowl of brown and some milk of the poppy, and she'll jump right back up.
Yeah. Throwing bags of coins with your non-dominant arm and everything.
So I have a question. Are we thinking 11's the last one, or do we think there's a 12, 13 out there?
Yeah, I think 11's the last airbender. I don't know. I don't see anybody more than her. 11's
like if they kidnap Will, and if he's still exhibiting powers after all this madness, yeah, he's number 12. I'm calling it.
I can see their Will being like the Papa Smurf of the bunch. You know what I mean? Like
so much tinfoil.
Right. I'm saying that. Look, this is how things that when they leaked season 7 last year of Game of Thrones, I was hands down saying this shit was fake. It's too much fan service, and that bitch was 99% fucking accurate. So when number 5 comes out, with his little get up cowboy outfit on, I want all y'all to be like, you know what, Tony, you were right. We should have listened to you. That's all I want.
I will make note of that. Oh goodness. Anyway, to wrap up this episode, Will hears the phone, and the demidogs are sent out to acquire their target. So everyone, they knock Will back out. Everyone gears up, and they show almost like that scene in the Avengers where the Avengers actually became the team, and they did that camera roundabout of everybody getting ready. That's basically what we saw with everybody that was at Joyce's house. And just when we thought the attack was coming, everybody was deep in their attack pose, we hear what sounds like a puppy in distress. And then we hear bones breaking and more whimpering puppies, and one of the demidogs flies through the window and lands dead in the living room. And they check it to make sure that it's dead. They're confused. They don't know what happens. And then the door starts to unlock, seemingly by itself. It blasts open, and in walks our girl 11, saving the day. And her and Mike have this awesome cutesy moment. And they look at each other, and they're crying, and they're smiling, and the episode ends.
That I had to say that I liked that a lot, the way they did that, because like at first I'm like, what the hell happened to that Demogorgon? You know what I mean? He just comes flying through the window, and he's just completely like dead. and they open up the door, and you see, doesn't she, as she's walking in, she like does that like I'm the shit walk and wipes the blood from her nose. It was like her version of a mic drop.
she came in with a surprise, motherfucker. That was her. Well, Tony, since you're already talking, go ahead. Did anything more you wanted to say on that final scene?
No, just that. I mean, I thought it was I think these guys, like, I hope these guys go on to do like future endeavors or whatever, because I really do enjoy the storyline. You know what I mean? It's not. We've commented on this before numerous times, how that, like, the Duffer Brothers don't like to use a bunch of filler, and I agree. Like, I'd rather it's kind of like we always do, go back to Game of Thrones, like with this last season coming up, how there's only 6 episodes. Like, I would be perfectly fine if it was 3 episodes, as long, you know, as they didn't rush it. Maybe have Miguel Sapochnik direct them all, and I would give up them final 3 episodes for like a really impactful like last season. And that's what I like about these guys. Like, they do a good job with writing in, you know, the story and the plot. Like, when you, yeah, I really didn't expect it to be 11 out there, and then he opened the door. It was just so cool. I didn't, because at first I'm like, everything was going like fast, and then I'm like, oh, how did he just jump through the window and die? I'm like, and then you see 11 out there. I don't know if it's just me. Like, I didn't expect her to be coming, like, walking in and be heard through the damn thing through the window.
Yeah, as soon as I heard the sounds of battle outside, I knew it was her, because nobody else could have been coming up. It just made total sense, and I love the way it happened. Lav, you go first, and then you, BBM.
I'm actually with Tony in this. I did not think it was 11. When I heard all the sounds outside, I thought, oh, like somebody showed up and they're just getting slaughtered out there, and then they're gonna come in and they're gonna have to fight. But then once the demidog like went through the window, I was like, oh, then if the demidogs are getting killed, then it's probably 11. And sure enough, she walked in. But up until that moment, I was not sure what was going on, so I was in like a lot of suspense, which was really cool. Love it. I have a 3-year-old who doesn't, she doesn't watch the show. She doesn't understand it really, but she was watching that episode with me, and she just likes action and all that kind of stuff. So that's what draws her attention. So right in that part, it was a lot of action, suspense. She was like really watching the TV. And then we see Mike and 11 look at each other, and she turns to me and she goes, oh, he loves her. And I was like, yeah, he does. And I was like, that's how good these actors are. My little 3-year-old who didn't have any backstory picked it up like that. As soon as they looked at each other, she was like, oh, he loves her. And she was really happy, you know? So I give a lot of props to those 2 actors. With just a look, they could get like all the seasons worth of feelings out to each other, and it was a great moment. And I've been giving a lot of crap to Hopper, but this is where I give him credit. This episode, when Mike flips out on him, he handled it perfect. He got Mike away from 11 so that Mike could have his fit. He could get his emotions out. He let Mike just be a kid. He let Mike kind of shit on him. He took responsibility for what he did. Let Mike kind of just get it all out, and then he hugged it out with the kid. And I was like, that's it. That was a moment where I was like, I think Hopper is finally maturing, and some of these issues he's got are kind of slipping away. I know he's an adult, but he had a little bit of growing up to do still. And I feel like that moment, I was like, yes, Hopper handled that perfectly. I shit on him when he does bad, but I give him credit when he does a good job. And I think he handled Mike and Mike's little, emotional hormonal tantrum perfectly. So I loved it all. I thought it was I kind of didn't like the catty way that 11 totally ignores Max, although I know it was like a bit of jealousy in there. But I was like, oh, don't do that. I don't know what is that. Is that the only bit we're talking about? Isn't this also the bit where Dustin?
That bit was in like the next.
No,
episode.
That's actually jumping ahead. That's the.
Oh,
next
it's
episode.
jumping ahead.
It just ended with the like 11 and Mike just staring at each other.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I jumped ahead. So yeah, I loved that look at the end. That was they nailed it. It was perfect.
That's a good point there, Love, with the way he handled
Tony, we can barely hear you.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
The way that he handled Mike, it was kind of like a parallel with how he dealt with 11. Like the way he dealt with 11 when she was throwing a fit was the wrong way to go about it, and I think it was like a learning lesson to him, not knowing that it was going to happen with Mike. But at least when it did happen with Mike, you know, he knew how to handle it better this time instead of like yelling back at him and you know what I mean, making him feel like a little kid. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I give him credit when he deserves it, and he definitely deserved it in that bit.
Hopper's a work in progress.
Yeah.
BBM.
I love him.
Lav said it best, or I should say her kid said it best. It's like, the moment when they gave that look, you know they were in love with each other. Love. There's only like the couple I can actually ship right now. I'm afraid to ship them because last couple I shipped was Joyce, and Bob dying. But Mike begins with an M, so he good. He can stay alive. It's
You
like,
and these letters of their names, like
me with my letters,
You and your
number 5.
numbers. You got nerve to talk.
what happened? What did you say about numbers?
You getting on him about his letters. You and your numbers.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry, BBM. We're in a class of our own, you know, when it comes to these you know, we're sitting here knowing what's gonna happen in season 3. You know, because their names start with B, they're gonna die. And I know, you know, the little cowboy's gonna be number 5. So we gotta stick together on that, BBM. They can call us tinfoil all they want, but when it happens, you know what they gotta say. I told
Exactly.
you so.
Billy dies in season 3.
Better yet, Billy is killed by number 5 because he thinks number 5's gun is a cap gun, but he had, you know, a real bullet in there and pops him.
You heard it here, folks.
So much tinfoil.
When that demo dog went through the window, I thought it was gonna be Dart that went through the window.
So did I. That's what I was gonna say. I thought the same thing.
Oh, was that all you had, BBM, on that?
Yep.
All right. What's everybody's rating for this episode? I'm with J-Town. She gave it a 9.5 egos, and I concur. Lav, what do you give it?
Agree.
I'll give it a 9.
9.
9
right. Tony?
Yeah, I have to agree. I'd probably give it a 9. It's one of my more favorite episodes of this season. Probably, yeah, it's definitely my top 2 best episode. I mean, top 3 best episode.
BBM?
9.5. I would give it a 10 if Bob survived.
Right.
Eduardo gives it a 10. Let's see. What about everybody else? Type what you give it.
The Goonies never die.
No, they did this time.
Like you said, he should have been channeling Samwise Ganges. Or even Rudy. You know what I mean? They have all the cats back going, Rudy. But they're going, Bob.
All right, me and BBM literally just did a debate about who was the better companion between Samwise and Samwell. And Samwise won that shit.
I don't know, Samwise, he would get on my fucking nerves. He's like too kiss-assy with Frodo, and I don't know, he just, something about Samwise like rubs me the wrong way.
No,
if we was on a deserted island, he'd be dead within 3 days.
Frodo. He told Frodo a thing or two when Gollum came up. He was like, you gotta be watch out. Well, Frodo was like, man, maybe he's our guide. Sam's our guide. He was like, nah.
There's some shady going on. You're not paying attention. let's say Eduardo gave it a 10, E gave it a 9, and Water gave it a 9. And respectable ratings all around. So we have come to the part of the show that I will dub the BBM segment, and he is going to take us through the final chapter of this season. Take it away, BBM.
So yeah, I'm going off notes here. No wiki. Could have done the wiki, but I don't know. Maybe after I go to like each section, if y'all want to like stop and talk.
You can't pull it up,
know.
bro. The synopsis for it's pretty small.
Yeah, hold on, Jayton. You've never seen the Goonies. I'm gonna need you to correct that immediately.
Oh Lord!
Please, then you'll understand the references that we're making with Bob. You gotta see it.
Rocky Road.
Never died.
Sorry.
So the scenes before the opening credits, we got the 353, the number of the days when 11 was away from Mike and people. Then it goes on to Mike and Hopper going head to head, which Lav did discuss a few moments ago. Then we had 11, Dustin, Lucas, and Joyce, having their little bit of reunion. Tony, if you want to, do that, Dustin growl, whatever, by all means. And
Why
she didn't even like
it.
This time it made sense. Then when Max introduced herself to 11 was like, yeah, I don't want any 2 cents with you. But then finally 11 visits Will, and Joyce talks about, yeah, you got to close that damn gate. The next scene, we got Nancy, Mom, and Billy. I don't know if they're going to pipe next season. But he gets the information that Max could be at Joyce's house. Then we got 11 and... 11 says that she can close the gate. But at the same time, everyone is worried that if they close the gate, it may end up killing Will. And also we have a conversation, an awkward one, between Nancy and Steve, which Nancy doesn't tell Steve that she's basically with Jonathan yet. It's still under the nose, but I don't know. Maybe talk about that. Then we got Hopper and 11 in the car talking about what she's been up to, only meeting up with her mother. I don't think they talked about her meeting number 8. Then we got Dustin tells Steve that to put the Demodog in Mrs. Breyer's refrigerator because, in the name of science. Leave Dustin alone for those who think that was wrong. Then we got Mike comes up with a plan to try to steer the demagogues away from the lab. And then we have the Billy versus Steve. Steve loses, and then Max comes to save the damn day. Hashtag fuck Steve. Then we got Joyce, Jonathan, and Nancy take Will away so they can perform the Mind Flare exorcism. While Max drives the gang to the lab, not the lab, the upside down near the farm place, whatever.
The pumpkin patch.
There we go. Then we got 11. Excuse me. 11 and Hopper see that dickhead scientist survives, but yet Bob doesn't. Weird stuff ends up spitting into Dustin's face. Could be tinfoil or something later happening next season. The gang began to drench the place with gasoline. But a little bit before that, Steve was a little bit anxious, saying that he didn't want the gang to go down. But then Dustin talks him into it, saying that Nancy wants to protect us. Then we have Will, possessed Will, showing signs that the exorcism is working and the Mind Flare does leave his body and it appears to be heading into space. And the Demodogs begin to investigate what's happening, and now 11 and Hopper can go down and to close the gate. Dark comes to rescue people before things go to shit. 11 channels her anger and becomes more powerful than ever, maybe even powerful than Palpatine himself. The lab later closes down. Also, yeah, the the gate thing gets closed. The lab closes down. Barbara's spirit can be put to rest, so it won't be a vengeful spirit out to get them. Shout out to Supernatural. We got Jane and Harper. Oh, we got Harper gets the birth certificate, which reads Jane Harper. So in a sense, he basically just adopted 11. And they have to wait for like a year so 11 can be out in the public, whatever, so things can get calmed down. And then we got the snowball where Will gets to dance with a chick. We got Lucas dancing with Max. We even got Mike dancing with 11, but then Dustin was all by his lonesome until Nancy helped out. So maybe Nancy isn't just complete filler after all. And then we have a little bit of romance that may happen next season of Joyce and Hopper. And then we have in the Upside Down, the Mind Flayer still alive.
Yeah, I think that what's her name? Nancy did Steve kind of dirty. Like, I understand Steve was a dick in the beginning, but like if you look at it in this perspective, like he's like the main guy in town, it's like the popular guy, and Nancy wasn't. She was a bookworm, and he like actually became like ended up caring for her and whatever high school love is. But you know, she kind of was like, okay, since you're a dummy, I don't want to be with you no more. I think it was a little bigger than that. I don't know. Maybe he didn't know how to work the middle. I don't know. I do think she did him dirty though.
See, and because of that, this episode alone made me sympathize with Steve. God damn it! Because even like she didn't have the balls to say, "Yeah, Steve, I'm done with you." Even that scene when they're having that awkward conversation, he was like, "You know, I'm a shitty boyfriend, but you know, I'm a good babysitter." And she's like, "Hey, why you're here? You know, why are you going with Jonathan? You could have like gone with us or something of that magnitude." And she was like, "Well, she could have said something, but she didn't. Like, why she had to like continue that on? Like, we never officially got to see the breakup, though."
Right, and compared to like high school, like when you're popular and everybody loves you, and then you end up, you know, risking all that getting taken from you because you didn't, you know, you're starting to have feelings for a girl that's not part of the, you know, the in crowd or the preppies. So that's why I kind of felt bad, because he gave up his, you know, King Steve identity for a girl he thought, you know, liked him as much as he liked her. And it was kind of almost made you think like she just dumped him because he wasn't book smart. Like from that one scene in the car, and he's like, she's realizing how like, you know, non-educated he is. And it was almost like, okay, because of that, you know, you're like, the hell with it.
No, I think they were never really supposed to be together. I don't know. They're, and like J-Ton just said, you know, Nancy and Steve were doomed when Barb died. And I agree with that. Honestly, I think it was breaking down from the very beginning, you know. I think Nancy, she was just in that teenage girl space, you know, the popular guy likes her and she wants to try to run with it because, you know, that's like the norm. That's what she thinks is supposed to happen. But they were never truly right for each other. So
I mean, that's a good point, though, because like you said with the bar thing, and then I guess too, you take it as she was a virgin or whatever, you know, and then she's all like, you know, put together well, has that like dresses kind of like, you know, borderline Mennonite, and you know, you got like Steve slinging that dick. She didn't know what to do with herself. Now she's fucking like, fuck Steve. She wants to try out some more.
I agree. The only thing I'll give Nancy is, I mean, how many times does high school love last? It's rare. So, I mean, they're learning, they're changing. You know, you grow apart a lot faster, I think, in high school. So I give her that, but I think she should have, and I think a lot of it was like, yeah, Steve was the popular guy, and she wasn't supposed to go for that guy, but she, you know, she did. A little rebellion. What I agree with you completely on is she did do him dirty. She should have just been straight with him. Told him, you know what? It's not working out. We're done. I'm going with Jonathan. He knew already. I mean, he tells her, go. just go. Like, I know you want to go, just go. So he knows, like, at least have the balls to tell him, you know, be straight with him. Don't just kind of let it fizzle out because you don't have the balls to tell him it's done. She tells him when she's drunk, and it's I think I agree with you there. Like, she didn't do him right. She could have given him a lot more respect because he has been respectful to her. He screwed up in the beginning, but she forgave him, and after that he's been on the straight and narrow. So she could have done him right, although he can't get too pissy either because he has his skeletons that he did. So
I mean, and he already knows he's a shitty boyfriend. You know, he can't be mad at it.
Well, I don't think he's a shitty boyfriend. I just think he's not right for her.
Right.
He's not what she needs, you know?
I agree.
Say it once, say it again. They were supposed to break up since season 1. They just dragged it out so he can have a quote-unquote purpose. Like, I don't know. They could have had him be dumped then and then just have him, like, again, just have that transition of him at least showing up to the house or whatever, you know, trying to win Nancy back or something. I don't know. And then just bumping with Dustin.
He need to do something with that fucking hair, though. His hair pisses me off.
The one gold star I'll give Steve is his interactions with Dustin.
Dustin, yeah, I'll just go say.
I didn't agree with everything he told Dustin, like, once the dance sequence came up, but I appreciate, you know, the mentorship that he gave him, because Dustin definitely needs that with the mom that he has. So yeah. I'll give him a you know, well done for that, but he's still a dick.
Yeah, they did it. I had to give him props on that with giving Steve a purpose now that, you know, it's not Nancy, and that just goes, you know, the show back right to the, you know, the way this television show is written. Like, it doesn't just have this, like, you know, uncomfortable third wheel hanging around, you know.
Mm-hmm. And so BBM, you gave basically a whole synopsis of the whole thing, right? All right. Let's see, what was it for this episode? Like, how did you guys think everything came together? And what especially do you think about the final sequence? Because I think that and the closing the gate scene were probably my two favorites of this episode and possibly of the whole season as well. BBM, it's your show right now, so why don't you go first?
Favorite scenes in this season, the starters. Again, it touched upon like the last scene, but still the opening scene of, you know, the interaction between 11 and Mike, and then Mike and Hopper was excellent. That was most needed. Second favorite scene has to be when Dark came to the damn rescue. In stupidity, it worked in the end. Called that. Should have called it. But I still called Dustin dumb. But still, at the end of the day, it helped them out in the long run. Lastly, even though, you know, Dustin didn't get to dance with the people he wanted to, got the dance with Nancy. But then lastly, the whole Mind Flare exorcism was fantastic. You know, remind me of the exorcism.
Yeah, that was a really good scene also. I think yeah, the whole episode with 11, and if I remember correctly, she did, you know, begin starting with tapping in on her anger, but there was a montage of her friends, basically everybody that was close to her. Or am I misremembering that?
I think it was more of her thinking of just solely Papa, I think. Because then it just ties into what 8 like manipulated her mind and make her see things, that whole speech, whatever. It was just mainly that, and that's what she was channeling. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Either Either way, I thought that was great. And I did question, like, what was going through the Mind Flayer's head watching that happen. I would assume it would try to stop 11, and more so than just, like, you know, getting the Demodogs to come in for an attack. But it seems like he was almost powerless to stop it. And
the Mind Flayer was just trying to help out. It was first the Demodogs, and then itself tried to reach and get 11 though, but it failed.
Right. Like 11 was too powerful, I guess, at that time, closing the gate, or perhaps it didn't move quick enough. I don't know, but I thought that was a great sequence. And then the heat with the exorcism and trying to get the Mind Flayer out of there. You know, Jonathan wanted to stop it after a while, but Joyce was like, no, we got to make sure it's gone. And when it went out, like the black veins and all that came out, and it just shot back out and went off into the ether. It was excellently shot. It was a great scene. And then with the dance, I think that there's going to be something extra with Dustin and possibly with Hopper as well, because that final sequence we saw, the Mind Flayer was over the gym in the upside down, and we could see it seems like it was peering at them. My first thought was that it was like looking at 11 to see where she was, but Dustin and Hopper were also there too. So it could have also been looking at them because they got sprayed with that stuff that was floating around. You know, everyone else had all their stuff covered, and at some point in time it got into Dustin's mouth and also got into Hopper's mouth. So could it be something like what happened with Will, with him coughing up the slugs later? I don't know. It's possible, and I would like to see where that goes. I think it's a great possibility that it's not going to be just 11 the Mind Flayer's on. And I don't think we're done with the lab that's there either. I think they've closed down for now, but they'll have to be returned there for some reason. And, you know, the dance itself, I think, was really cute. And Dustin, while he didn't necessarily get the girl at the end, I think he now has street cred, because all those chicks that he asked to dance saw him with Nancy and was like, wait a minute, bitch, what? Is he actually worth our time? And the answer is yes. Damn it. Dustin's an asshole at times, but he's still a good kid. So yeah, you should feel bad that you turned him down. You should.
But if Dustin turns evil, that's fine.
He should have never let Steve though give him that fucking mullet hairdo. The fuck you think you're gonna get girls with that?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that hairspray, man.
Growling all the fucking time. When
that and the damn growl, just not cool.
He had his business in the front, party in the back.
I was so upset, and AK is my witness, that I was like messaging her, like, I want to beat the hell out of all these little bitches who aren't dancing with my Dustin. I give Dustin a hard time, but I was like on full mommy mode. I was like, where's my belt? Where's my belt? These little bitches.
LavLav had a Joyce moment at that.
I was like, how dare you not dance? He's adorable. Look at him with his new teeth and his pretty hair. Dance with him. So,
that goes back to Bob when he's telling about how he's like, yeah, when he was in high school, whatever, how he was the nerd and the geek, and how none of the like popular girls want the geek or the nerd, but when you become an adult, and because you're a geek and a nerd, you're running or developing, you know, Fortune 500 companies. That's when the popular girls that wanted to date, you know, the people that played sports and all that, come for those kind of guys, because they got stability. And you know, it's you know, it's crazy because it happens in the real world. You know, like you'll see the guy that was real popular in high school, you know, he's quarterback, everybody likes him, and then by the time he's 24, he's a raging alcoholic with no hair
and nothing better to do with himself.
Nope.
Because he didn't think to apply himself to being more than just popular.
Right.
But that's also a callback to Bob and Joyce, you know, and Joyce was The popular
Exactly.
kid. And Bob even said it, you know, like, you didn't give me the time of day in high school. There it is.
Confirmed. Jonathan's gonna die. Fourth season. Unless they bring in someone else with a B in their name, he's gonna die.
So you're saying the end game is Dustin and Nancy?
Could happen. Time skip can happen, and next thing you know, hey Dustin, hey, that's how you been. It's like, you were always my favorite.
Shit.
I've been looking at Billy.
No more love triangles with Nancy, man. Nah.
All that,
I'm over that.
all that purring he does, he might got a good motorboat game. You never know.
You know what? Just no. No. Yeah, we gonna wrap that segment up right now. All right, so how many egos? How many egos for the episode? Unless you guys had anything else you wanted to touch on.
But the only thing I wanted to say was that I fell in love even more with Hopper when he was there, just defending his 11. He was gonna go down with his ship. I was like, yes, Hopper. I'll give you more credit. So yeah, that was touching. I think that's the only other
Indeed
part that I really wanted to say. Yeah.
For me, I gotta say, now that we saw like the full character arc here of Max, do you love her or hate her?
Actually, I really like that too. I'm glad you brought it up. I loved Max finally putting the smackdown on her stupid ass brother. Like, she finally stood up to him, and I was like, yes, girl, yes, kick his ass.
right.
So, poor Steve.
Fuck Steve. But no, I really like the moment that Max like finally stepped up and put him in his place. You know, we see later they're at home. You know, she's not around the friends, but that fire is still strong because he looks at her and then she looks right back at him like, what? Do you remember what the fuck I just said? Do you want to lose your balls? And he kept walking because he knows now not to come with that fuck shit.
It was like the perfect bullies always bully until you stand up to them and then they're like, oh,
fuck they ass up. And it's sad but true, but sometimes those people that do that only recognize when, you know, they get their ass whooped, that they need to calm the fuck down somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So, see, Jayton gives it 8 egos out of 10. Eduardo gave it 9. I think I'm going to go with another 9.5. They had some really, really great moments in this one. And the wrap-up was very well done. I liked it, especially when it came to that little small twist at the end. And we saw the mind flare there. So I think there's going to be some great things happening next season with that.
Question. What do you think happened to the dead Demodog that Dustin told Steve to put in the refrigerator?
I think it's still on ice, and they're probably going to keep it that way until they can get it to someone that will actually study it, but not like try to take credit for it. Like Dustin's going to handle that in some type of way that, you know, people know his name because of it. What do you guys think?
With this episode, I mean, I had to disagree with you guys on the dance. Like, I really didn't care for the dance. I think it was cool because it showed, like, you know, the little pairing ups or whatever, but I didn't, you know, I could have went without that. But, you know, it was still a very good episode. Did we just give our rating on this or the series as a whole?
Actually, we can do both. Yeah, I didn't think about that. For the episode, I give it a 9. For the whole season, though, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. They got another winner here.
Yeah, for the episode, I'd probably give it like an 8.5. And with the entirety of the season, I probably have to be about a 9. I really liked how this season, because it was the second one, was more like action packed than just, you know, the first season was pretty much like building these characters. And it's like I I like that a lot. I think though what bothers me in a way is that we might not see Max again, because if you look at like a lot of times some of these people have story writers have a certain direction they want to go with a character, and say she was only meant for one season, but then she gets a big like like everybody in Twitter and regular people, are really like in the Max. They could write her in, to the following season if she wasn't already. But that kind of goes the other way too. When you bring a new character on and they don't really catch with the audience, they could had plans to have them for the whole entirety of the show, but then because he's not, looked at well by the fans, they could just write him in as being killed off, whatever. So I can see it if we wouldn't see Max or Billy again, they could move back to California for whatever reason.
I agree with you that they do that, because I know they did that with Bob. Bob was supposed to die early in the season, and they did it with Steve. Steve was also supposed to be a jerk the whole time, but they liked the actor, and so they changed it for him. But using your logic, I would say that Max and Billy are definitely staying, and they might kill off Kali's crew before she even gets back to 11, because I don't think they were received very well. Nobody really gave a crap about them. And like us, we didn't really care all that much either. So I could see them maybe dying somehow with the cops chasing them. Her whole crew dies and she ends up alone, and she tries to find 11, something like that. If we're going by your logic, which I think, I mean, history has shown is pretty spot on, like that's what they do. So I don't know, that would be like, if we're doing predictions, that would be kind of my prediction as far as that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Max and Billy are going anywhere else just yet. Billy, I think, will probably fall into the background. He'll be like a minor plot point, possibly involving Mike's mom. It seems like that's where they might head. But I think he's definitely still going to be around. And Max definitely is still going to be around. I think, shout out Felicia joining us here for the tail end. I think that Max is going to eventually, I think, come to terms with 11. 11's going to see that, it wasn't what she thought it was in the beginning, and they may not be besties, but I think they'll get along, and she is definitely going to join the party. So I think we'll see some good interactions with all of the kids as a group next season. I don't think Max is going anywhere just yet.
No, for me, I think we're still going to get more of Max. When it comes to Billy, not 100% sure with him. Again, maybe if the fans love him, maybe the directors actually fell in love with Max. I don't know. Maybe it's like watch more of that, what is it, Stranger Things podcast, whatever they did on Netflix again, so I can remember. But it's like they wouldn't just bring in Max for just that love story and then just have her confront her brother and then just somehow just like do away with her. Maybe it's like do something a little bit more with her. I don't know what it has to. Maybe build her relationship up with 11. That's one thing that they can possibly do with her character next season. If not, I don't know. But it's like they can easily have a time skip where it just allows Jonathan and Nancy go off to college. And then we can focus on other people. So that will actually make at least Max's storyline even like improve a little bit more. Because you kind of just see that like with Nancy, like besides the Barbara aspect, if they never touched on Barbara, there would have been like no point for Nancy at all this season. Just like Jonathan. Jonathan was just there so they can actually finally hook up with Nancy. If they actually hooked up last season as planned, I wouldn't truly see again like just been the boyfriend, And then there'll been like less of actually Steve scenes. Like that's how I look at it.
Actually, yeah, Steve is probably going to have a minor role next season since he's graduating.
But now that
he's staying in town though, so I highly doubt he's gonna be too less of an off-screen.
Steve had more in this season than Jonathan did. Jonathan followed Nancy around. Steve did stuff. he grew. So now that you mention it, I was like, that's true. Steve did way more than Jonathan this season, and I didn't even really realize it until you just pointed it out.
But we know that well, I can't say that he grew a little bit, but then at the same time, it was like he was about to get ready to like leave and tell the kids like, one, don't go to the plant, the pumpkin patch, whatever. He was telling them to stay put. And even on the road over there, he was like, yeah, don't go down there. So Dustin talked him into it, saying, oh, well, Nancy would want you to do it. So then he was like, all right, I'll do it for Nancy. Whatever. If it wasn't for that, he would have took his 2 cents and told them all to go back. That's what I didn't like about Steve. If Steve never got that motivational talk or did the motivation of going there, then I'll have to, you know what, I'll be on Steve.
But I don't think Steve is ever going to be a leader. Like, that's not him. But we do show him grow because how he grows with Dustin, and he also grows as far as telling Nancy, like I got it. Go with Jonathan. And before, if we go to the beginning of season 1, he would have been a total asshole about it. So I don't know, but I'm trying to think of what Jonathan did, and apart from following Nancy around and screwing her, like, what did Jonathan do?
He helped get the story out.
Yeah, it was all Nancy and that dude.
Yeah.
He didn't. I think I did it by herself, to be honest.
Yeah, true enough. True enough. Yeah, because Nancy's motivation stemmed from Barb. So yeah, I feel it. Jayton actually just said like the guy that plays Jonathan got into some trouble and then got deported back to England. So I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. I know he was filming New Mutants.
Exactly, but I didn't say that.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm sure if he is in season 3, they'd probably make some type of accommodation. Yeah, he's a celebrity. They tend to be lenient with something.
Either number 8 or number 5 is in NYU. That's the only way they can make that connection.
What did the guy get in trouble for?
Drug possession.
Oh, figure. Weed? Oh, weed? He looks like a good equal.
You in here for some marijuana? That's some bullshit.
All right, so for the final segment, because we've been on for nearly 3 hours now, and damn, I didn't think we would be here this long. But for the final segment for our wrap up, what is like one bold prediction? Like Game of Thrones Academy, their channel is awesome. Check them out. They always have like a bold prediction they make at the end of their videos. So for season 3, what is you guys' one bold prediction that you can make that you think we'll see? Tony, you go first.
I mean, what we think we're going to see coming into next season, right?
Yeah, one big prediction that you think could happen.
I think I'm gonna have to stick with the what happened with Hop and being down in that the underground network, and when he gets sprayed in the face with the spores. I really think I'm predicting that next season there's going to have something's going to happen either from the complications of those spores. I can't see that just being, an agent to knock somebody out, because when you look at the upside down world, when you're like inside it, that shit's floating everywhere, and it almost seems like it kills stuff. So it's like it can, just because we haven't seen it yet, like it might be different ways it enters the body that makes it, come out quicker than others. So I'm thinking that something's gonna come down with Hop being sprayed with those spores, other than being knocked out.
Nice. All right, BBM.
For me, I have to say the return of Papa. He needs to make a comeback. They teased us at the end of season 1 with that newsletter saying that he made a statement. We don't know if that was a cover-up or not. Then we hear this guy saying, well, Papa's still alive. So it's like, are you just teasing at us? We're going to get like a comeback? Or just having like a Thanos after credit, him turning around and like, yeah, let's go get 11. Something of that magnitude. We need Papa back. Maybe the adults learned something. If not, they ain't learning anything. Papa's dead.
Robbie?
Actually, Felicia mentioned mine in the chat. Not one of the kids per se, but I think one of the main cast is gonna croak next season. I see them dying. I'm not sure who it'll be. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe one of the older kids. But yeah. And I think it's very curious how the spores affect Hopper and how the upside down affects Hopper versus how it affects Dustin and how it affected Will. Like, they take it a lot better than he does. So I agree with you, Tony, that something might happen with Hopper. And I'm ready for Pop Pop, Broke. I'm ready for him. But I think someone's dead next season. Someone we really care about is dead next season, not like Barb or...
If they kill Justin, that's it. Oh, that's it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm sorry, Lav. Can you repeat like a snippet of what your thing was? My neighbor's out here being loud as shit, distracting me.
No, I just said that I think one of our core group, like the main group, is gonna die. I'm almost positive. Now, somebody they introduce the third season, I think probably somebody like that will die, but I think someone we've been with like from the beginning is gonna die.
Damn. Enid says she's theorizing it'd be Dustin. Oh,
maybe.
Let's see.
Read the chat. Hashtag leave Dustin alone.
Fuck that. Yo, no. Dustin. Target.
You're muted, AK. I don't know if you know. You're muted.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Okay. Dustin in this season made me think of fucking Micro's kid in The Punisher. That kid needed the fucking smackdown, and he didn't get it, unfortunately. Not gonna spoil what the whole situation was in case anybody hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen a single episode of Punisher yet.
What'd you say?
I haven't seen an episode of Punisher yet. I'm so behind.
That's fine.
Me too, and it looks good.
That's all I'll say is that kid needed a smackdown. Dustin needed a swift smack upside the head also when it came to Dart. But my prediction, I think, is the energy plant will reopen. And not only will it reopen, but it will be with assistants, or they'll be working with them, and it will be the special character that comes in for that will be one of the special children. I don't know who. No, I'm not thinking number 5, but I think it's going to be one of them that is like Kali is a bit older than 11. I think we may see someone like number 2 or 3, and they'll be helping to run the show at the reopening. I don't know why I feel like that. It just seems like it would be a natural progression, because there's always one that's trying to work with the, quote unquote enemy. And like I said before with Elle, it gives me, her whole situation gives me a feeling of Manticore and Dark Angel. And with that, Max and all the kids in their group, there were others in their same X class that did not escape and leave the same night that Max and some of the other kids did. And they were used to try to capture their brothers and sisters. So I think something like that would happen. And I think it would be really awesome to see if it did. But that is my final quote. And I think everyone's given their bold predictions, and we have everyone's thoughts. So, if you guys still want to debate or anything, drop something in the comments. And, if by chance you have questions, if we get enough, then we might do another prediction stream or just discussion about it. I appreciate all y'all coming out to join us. I didn't think we'd be on this long, but we did, and the conversation was awesome. Always love hanging with you guys. So let's go with outros. I'll go down the line. BBM, you start.
As always, glad to be on here in your channel along with Lav and Tony. Great talking to you, especially you, AK. You know what's about to happen. The Lamb title shall begin. AK, the one with the fedora, the one who is always about damn Lexa. She deserves better. So hashtag Lexa deserves better.
Hashtag Lexa deserves better.
Hashtag the one with the fan fiction of Glee. To freaking the 100. So I think there's another one. I really should get a hook up on that one too. Again, it slipped my mind. Also, the one, well, I just got like 2 new ones. The Guyana Prophet and Guyana Rose. I also say that too, damn it. You know, the list goes on and on. Thank you for having me on, AK.
Tony.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, everybody on the panel that we got to do this. And I'm very surprised, I have to say, that we went 3 straight weeks in a row planned for Saturday every weekend at 9. And we might have been a couple minutes late here and there, but we at least kept to doing the stream. And that's very rare because it has nothing to do with anybody being lazy or anything. It's just shit happens sometimes.
Life gets in the way.
Right. And with 4 people, the odds of that happening are a lot greater, at least to one of us. So I'm very impressed that, and we should all give ourselves a pat on the back. I know I'm bad with that. So I just want to say thanks, Alicia, having me on. You know, you're my sister. Nothing else needs to be said about that. BBM, I'll see you in a stream probably sometime this week. As usual, LavLav, it's been great to be on these streams with you. It's the first time I really did like this much, you know, extensive of a stream with the 3 streams we did with you. And it was a pleasure, and I hope with many more to come. You catch me, Tony Umber, used to be Lord Last Hearth. It's too much to say. So yeah, if you want to check out, you know, gaming videos, anything Song Ice and Fire, GOT related, I'm the man. If you're looking for live streams, I'm probably going to be on somebody else's shit. So until next time, everyone, I just want to say thanks to the chat for coming out.
Word. Lavi.
I just wanted to say thank you again, Miss AK, for inviting me, and I always have a blast with you and Tony and BBM. Like, you guys are like some of my favorite people to talk to, and I wanted to say to the chat, we've been getting so much love in the chat, and I really appreciate it. J-Town and Eduardo especially, I know you guys are saying how much you enjoyed the chat, so much love to you guys. We feel exactly the same way. And there's Ion and Felicia and Aaron Water, and oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna miss people. Sarah. Oh, if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. I know we've been saying throughout, but I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and chatting with us, because this is like a blast, and we enjoy it as much as you do. And then, I mean, my channel's LavLav. We are going to do a book club. That's about the only thing I have planned so far. It's a book club for Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, and I know Tony is joining us this time around, so that's going to be really fun. And yeah, thank you all for having me. Much love.
Indeed, indeed. And I have now come back out of the upside down because this stream is now coming to an end. Thank you guys, my lovely panel, Lord of Last Hearth, I'm sorry, Tony Umber, as he is now known in the realm, my brother, LavLav, BBM. Thank y'all so much for hanging with me during this. And I know we'll be doing many more streams coming up. Like Lav said, check her out for the book club. Watch for the dates. We always have a good time doing that. And like Tony, I always say you'll catch me on other people's channels more than you'll catch me on mine. So, you know, set your notifications for the Game of Thrones fam, because that's like the circle we move in. Everybody in the chat, thank you. Jayton, Ion, Felicia, Aaron Water, Enid, Sarah. See, who else do we have in here? Had Eduardo, Ion Trone, King McKay. Also, yeah, y'all definitely go check out King McKay's channel, man. He's an awesome dude. And he's got that English accent that's always so pleasant to listen to. There were a few other people in earlier, but of course the chat doesn't always allow me to go scroll all the way back up to the top. Shout yourselves out in the comments if I missed your name. Thank you for coming to hang out with us. Everybody's channel links are in the description below. BBM, he has 2 channels, a gaming channel and a regular channel, so check both of those out. Sub to everyone because they always got good stuff coming out. And appreciate y'all hanging with us, and we will be back for the next one. Night, everyone.